So, good evening. My name's Richard. This is over and over and over again. It is, of course, the Arsenal Women's Show, the start of the weekend. The weekend may be starting a little bit later tonight because I've been a little bit late. I'm even struggling to get the show even off the ground tonight. So, but we've managed to pull it together. It is going to be a good one. Lots to talk about, of course, the two matches against Manchester City. We're going to look back on those mixed results, mixed performances in many ways as well. Today, of course, was the Champions League draw. That was exciting, wasn't it? So we're going to have a look at that as well. And this weekend, we may be at one cup, but we've got another one to come, of course, the FA Cup. That is on Sunday against London City Lionesses. So we're going to preview that game. We're going to do all the usual stuff, your comments and questions, all that sort of stuff is all coming up the other side of this. So, good evening and welcome to the show. Of course, the Lord is in the building. How are you doing this week, Andreas? Are you okay?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. And yeah, I'm not bad at all and looking forward to the show. I'm glad you managed to make a show. I know you were busy today, but I think there's so much to talk about with the two City games, the Champions League draw and the FA Cup upcoming. So yeah, looking forward to the show.
Yes, there is lots to do. I've had no time this week with the Newcastle game, the game last night. We've been a man down at work. It's just been hectic, but I have managed to get a show together, and it is going to be good. I say, as Andreas rightly says, there's lots to talk about. There always is, isn't it? Let's be honest. In the wonderful world of Arsenal women, there's always something going on, and it's been a busy week. It's been a hectic week, and a bit of an up and down week in terms of results. But as always, we do like to do things chronologically. So we're going to start with the game last Sunday. So start at the top and work our way down, really, because that was an exciting game, wasn't it? We came away with a big victory. Well, I mean, what a game that turned out to be. Lots of mistakes, lots of poor defending, lots of, terrible refereeing again going against us. But through all of that stuff, we managed to come away with a very, very important victory in terms of the league and in terms of getting in the top three, all that kind of stuff. And it was a fantastic game of football, first and foremost. I mean, you know, as an advert for the WSL, as an advert for women's football, it doesn't get much better. This game pretty much had everything, didn't it? And of course, from our point of view, it had the one thing that we were most worried about, which was the result. And we got the result in the end, although we made harder work of it than maybe what we should have done after taking a 2-0 lead inside 10 minutes. You know, you expected us to go on and maybe win a bit more comfortably. But anyway, we got the job done in the end. We fully deserved to win, I felt. And it was nice to go there again, second year running, and come away with the 3 points. Really important 3 points they were. I mean, Andreas, it was quite a game, wasn't it? Difficult to know where to start with it because so many things went on. It was just from the first minute to the last, pretty much something was happening. It was a great game, exciting stuff, and of course, it was such an important win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very important for the league and for second or third place. So we couldn't start the game better. I mean, first minute, first goal, and City gifted us this opportunity, and Mariona was there. We know that she's good in winning back balls. Sometimes she loses the ball very easy, but she wins it. Normally, she wins it very quickly back, and this was such a situation. And then after 8 minutes, 2-0 up away at City. It was a very good start, a comfortable start, and I think everybody thought, this will be a relaxed Sunday, and we're going to take the 3 points. And then I don't know what happened. We gave away the control of the game after about 20 minutes, and to be honest, City deserved this one goal and to be back in the game. They were from the 20th minute the better team, and I think we were lucky to go into halftime with a 2-1 lead. But then, It was another Viv Miedema goal, and yeah, she likes to score against us. 2-2. At that moment, I thought, oh, we are going to lose. We gave away the momentum, everything. But then 1 minute later, another brilliant idea from Mariona, this pass, and also the finish from Frida was great. I mean, the pass was fantastic, but you must make something out of it. And Frida got away from the defender and finished very good. So we were again in the lead. And what happened then? How can you give a penalty for this situation? I mean, there are not many clearer situations when you can say it's not a penalty. It was clearly outside the box. And of course, yeah, she grabbed the shirt. Yeah, you can say it was a foul. But the City player fell, and she fell before she entered the box. Of course, in the end, she was lying in the box. But everybody saw that it was outside. And I thought, okay, the referee hasn't seen it, but the assistant referee must intervene now. She must have seen it. Nothing. I couldn't understand. Yeah. So when you consider this terrible decision, then it was only deserved that we scored another goal. And yeah, in the end, it was a very tight match, and it could go either way. But all in all, yeah, it's difficult to say. We are Arsenal, so we say it was deserved. City fans will say a draw would be deserved, but yeah, a week later, nobody asks how the result was coming. It only counts. We got the 3 points, very, very important 3 points, and a 4-3 win away at City. Yeah, very good. And yeah, a good match, perfect start, then lost control, but in the end, yeah, we were resilient enough to respond and get the win. So it was a good day for us.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought that once, once we did concede that penalty, and it was we were the team that looked the more likely to win. We were taking the game to them. We created more chances than them. I thought at that point we definitely deserved to win. From that point onwards, I thought we were the better team. Yes, Man City had moments. Of course they did. I think going 2-0 up so early, maybe we almost thought it was too easy, maybe, and we dropped our intensity a little bit, didn't we? We stopped pressing as much as we had done prior to that, and we let City back into the game, and they did take advantage of it. We made some mistakes, of course we did, to give them the goals, but yeah, I thought overall, if you looked at the 90 minutes on the whole, I thought, obviously one of their goals was a dodgy penalty, so I think overall we did deserve to win. We scored 4 good goals as well, and I was delighted for Stina to finally get the goal at the end. She had missed a couple of chances prior to that, and it was nice that she was able to be in the right place at the right time when it mattered and put away the goal that won the game, as she did last season as well. And she's got a good record against Man City, which was mentioned before. So yeah, it was a great day. It was a great game, and yes, defensively we have to be better than that. We can't afford to concede. It's been rare because under Rene we've been much more solid, haven't we? We haven't conceded many goals prior to this, so I suppose we have to look at it long term and think, well, okay, maybe that's a one-off in some way, the way we defended at times. But going forward, we look good, created lots of chances. I say, scored some good goals, different goals as well. We had one header from a set piece, we had one from an early press, the first goal, and then great team play for the other 2 goals in the second half. I thought Frida Marnham's goal was a brilliant move, wasn't it? Lovely counter-attack, fast-moving football, and a great finish. And then, Stina's goal at the end as well was, again, a good team move and well finished off. So I thought it was a good all-round performance going forward. It's just defensively, obviously, we know we have to be better, and we have been better. But it made it for a better game, I suppose. 2-0 up after 10 minutes. If it finished 2-0, we wouldn't have enjoyed it half as much, would we? So, it was nice. Maybe we did make the mistakes. It wasn't as good for the heart, but it certainly was more enjoyable game to watch, wasn't it? And it was great. And it was one of the best games of the season in the WSL, I think. What I've seen, I haven't seen any game better than that, I don't think, in terms of excitement. Not necessarily, quality always, because there were a lot of mistakes, but it was a great game to watch. And we got the 3 points, and I think that was, ultimately, if we'd lost that game, it would have put us in a really, really difficult situation in the league for the top three, wouldn't it? We had a lot of work to do, and we'd have been relying on lots of other results. So really important to get that win, bouncing back from the Chelsea defeat as well, the league game before that. So I thought that was important. Difficult run of fixtures. Chelsea away, Man City away, 2 games in a row was tough. To come away with 3 points from those 2 games is actually a decent effort, really. 2 draws I would have probably took, which is less points. So, I think 3 points out of the 2 games is all right. Yes, 6 would have been lovely, obviously. But I think we'd have took sort of 3 beforehand. So I think we've got to be reasonably happy with that. And yeah, a good way to start. We've got Joe in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. LG is with us. How you doing? Says, evening, guys. I think we need to have a serious conversation about Stina and her future at Arsenal. She's on thin ice, in my opinion. Wow, really? You think so? I mean, she just scored 4 goals 3 goals in 3 games, which, when she doesn't get many starts, she started 3 games and got 3 goals. I don't see what more she can do. Yes, she's missed a few chances. Absolutely. I agree with you. She has. And she missed a few against Man City. But ultimately, she still scores goals. And, I think as an out-and-out goal scorer, she's better than Russo. Russo's a better all-round player, absolutely. But I think she's a better goal scorer. El Loco says, Rene's formation yesterday was whack. Russo is not a winger. I know she was trying to accommodate Stina, but that was the wrong approach. It was kind of the approach that had worked against Man City. In the league game it worked, and then obviously in a cup game, which we'll talk about in a minute, it didn't. It's the same. Russo played the same position, and it worked in one game. It didn't work in the second game. Who's to know? Rene couldn't have known it wouldn't work 2 games running, I suppose. And it worked first of all, so she maybe thought, what, do it again. I personally agree. I think Russo would be better playing more central behind Stina. I think she'd be more effective there, but. Rene's the manager. She's got to make those decisions, and we did win the first game, so you can understand why she did it again. My surprise really was that Beth didn't play at all. I don't know if she was injured on Thursday, but we will talk about that game separately in a minute. But no, I kind of agree to a degree that Russo isn't a winger, but it worked in the first game. Maybe that's why. Joe says, OLG, that's a vexed question regarding Stina. Well, it is, and you know how we feel about Stina on this channel, but, I'm quite prepared to listen to other people's opinions on it. Of course, that's what it's about. LG says, Tim Stillman was right that Stina is so frustrating. She's so good when she has no time to think, but you give her 3 seconds on the ball and it's hard to watch. She's even missing one-on-ones and being offside. Well, no, but I mean, the way that she plays off the last defender. So being offside is a consequence of that. And you take away that part of her game, to the ability to run in behind and play off the shoulder, then she's going to be less effective. So I think she's going to be offside. That's a consequence of that, and that's the way it is. I think she's offside less recently than she used to be. Missing one-on-ones. I think all strikers. You show me a striker that doesn't miss one-on-ones. Erling Haaland, probably the best striker in the world at the moment, misses one-on-ones on a regular basis. Stina's in those positions. The one thing that frustrates me sometimes about Stina, it happened in the 2 games this week, is that she'll get into the box and she could shoot, but she takes an extra touch. She wants an extra touch to steady herself, and then sometimes the chance goes because the defender tackles or blocks, or she's maybe the angle's slightly out of her favour. So I'd like to see her just take 1 touch and then shoot sometimes, rather than taking an extra touch. But at the end of the day, she scores a lot of goals. She's had a good week overall. So I think that this isn't necessarily the time to be necessarily criticising Stina. I'm not saying she doesn't sometimes deserve criticism, but she's had a decent week, 3 goals in 3 games, and I think that's a good return, isn't it, for a striker? You can't do much more than that. I mean, Andreas, what are you making of Stina? Because I know I think she's an important player for us. She does score a lot of goals, and yes, she doesn't score every single chance, but no one does. Russo misses plenty of chances as well. What do you make of Stina overall? Do you think that it's a lack of game time, maybe, that sometimes she's not as sharp now as she was maybe 2 years ago when she was playing every week, and maybe she needs more time? Or is it the fact that maybe the way that we play now isn't getting out of her?
I know that you're a big fan of Stina, but no, I can't agree with you. I think in the last games, it's like Tim Stillman said in his podcast, when she has the biggest chance, the biggest sitters, and she has 3, 4, 5 seconds to think in one versus one situations, she misses these chances. If she has no time to think, like for the 4-3 she scored, then she scores. But she's too often offside. I think she should look. Yeah, she should look after the defenders and time her runs better. And she's not a player who can be involved in the build-up. She's very often she's not able to protect the ball or keep the ball. So she's only a goal scorer, and the only thing you can get out of Stina is scoring goals. But if she misses so many sitters, it's difficult. I think at the moment I see Leslie is in better form, and Leslie is the better number 9 for the system we play now. Leslie is not a winger. She's wasted there on the wings. We have better wingers, and she's the better number 9. So I would prefer Alessia Russo as number 9, 2 wingers, and Stina showed that she's a very good sub. When she comes in after 65, 70 minutes, then the game opens for her because she has fresh legs and the defenders are a bit tired, and then her runs are more effective for us. That's the way I see her now, as a super sub, but not as a starter. Sorry.
No. I mean, I don't necessarily totally disagree with that. She is very effective coming from the bench, and I think most teams would love a substitute like Stina who can come off the bench and score goals and win games, because she's done that plenty of times, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing to have. I do feel a little bit as though you're right about that. Maybe the style of play that we generally play now tends to suit Russo more in that position, because she's more flexible as a player, and Stina is a little bit one-dimensional. She needs to run in behind, and that's where because she's fast, she's quicker than most of the defenders that she plays against. So that's where she's effective. I think her hold-up play and the way she brings others into it has improved. I think she had, like the last couple of games, she's dropped deeper. She has tried to hold the play up, but I think she's got better at that. It's not a natural game, I agree, but she's improving, or she has improved in that area. The coaching obviously has been working. I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? Because I still believe, and I think that the records show it. I mean, LG says there, he says Russo is a better goal scorer than Stina. She's the only one I would have trusted apart from Mariona for the goal. Yeah, but you say Russo is a better goal scorer than Stina, but last season Stina scored more goals than Russo, and Russo started every game and Stina didn't. The season before, Stina scored 18 goals. Russo's never scored 18 goals in a season. So on that basis, I'd say Stina is a better goal scorer. Leslie's a better player all round. Absolutely. I'm not going to even try and pretend otherwise. Russo's a much better player. But I think as a goal scorer, as a literal goal scorer, I think Stina's record shows that she's better. She's a better goal scorer because she scores more goals. She scores more goals than Russo 2 seasons in a row. And Russo's taken her place in the team. And she's still scoring more. Last season, she still scored more goals. And yes, okay, people will say, well, she scored hat-tricks against some of the weaker teams in the other competitions when Russo didn't play. And that's a fair point, I suppose. But you can only score against the games you pick to play. And she still came off the bench and scored a lot of goals in some of the other games as well. But I don't know. I'd like to find a way where we can get both of them playing together and it works, because I think that you've got 2 players who can score goals in different ways. And if we can find a way, I thought Jonas tried it a few times and it worked a few times. Renee's trying it a few times and she hasn't quite got that mix right, because she's playing Russo maybe in a position where she's less effective. When Jonas did it, at least he played Russo more centrally, didn't he? This was before Mariona was in the team, of course. But I don't know. It's a tough one. And we're lucky that we've got the options of Russo and Stina, because most teams don't, do they? Most teams have one main goal scorer and that's it. We've got 2 goal scorers in our squad, which is great. So I don't know. It is a tough one, because I do think Stina gives us a lot when she plays, but Russo is a better all-round player. Yeah, I'll obviously admit that, because she is. But we need to find a way to get more out of Stina when she does play. But I say recently she's got a few goals. She's got 2 in the cup game. She got obviously 1 at the winning goal against Man City, and she needs the right service, absolutely. And I think we'll come on to the game the other night in a minute, and she didn't get the service last night, did she? So she wasn't going to be that effective. And I think Man City kind of sussed out how to play to stop her being effective, because every time she scores against them, and she didn't last night. So I think we have to give Man City a bit of credit for that as well. But yeah, Joe says, I wonder if Renee's management bump, the good results, has gone flat. Well, it has in terms of some of the results. We've got to remember we're playing better teams now. She was lucky in the sense that our first 10, 11, 12 games were generally games that we would have expected to win. Now we've played Man City twice. We've played Chelsea. We've played better opponents. So, of course, the results were never going to be quite the same. It would have been exceptional to have won all of those games. So as the bump gone flat, yes, a little bit, but I think the opposition are better. And I think that's more of the reason. Well, we're going to find out, aren't we, over the next 2 or 3 months, I suppose, where we end up the season now. We're out of one cup. Marion says, Russo on the wings. What was that? Well, it worked in the first game, so I suppose that's the reason. El Loco says, Stina is a bang-bang player. Her style is road runner and shoot, no plan B. Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, she's very one-dimensional. Absolutely. I agree with you there. But it can be effective. That can be, and it is effective when it works, absolutely. Vicky says, agree. I hope this is the last time we see Russo on the wing. I don't know if it will be. I don't know if it will be the last time, but it didn't work last night. I thought it did. It was okay in the first game, but not the other night, obviously. Joe says, I wonder when Jenna is going to get her first start. Talking of American players, do you think Emily Fox is struggling a bit since the Xmas break? I don't know. Maybe she's not been quite as effective. I don't know. I think she's been playing okay. I mean, Andres, do you see her struggling a little bit recently since we come back? I'm not really sure she's struggling. We've had better opposition, haven't we, as well, I suppose?
Yeah, she's not struggling, but maybe she's not as effective as she was in the first half of the season. But that's the problem. She's playing all the time. She's starting every game. She had no summer break due to the Olympics. Then coming to us, pre-season, then Champions League qualifiers. She's starting every game. We should give her a rest from time to time, but there is no alternative on right back. We sold Laura Winwater to City, and there's no backup for Foxy. That's really dangerous situation if she picks up an injury or so. Yeah, maybe that's the reason that she's overplayed. And I would have preferred a backup for her and giving her a rest from time to time. And that's what's coming out when you overplay a player. We saw this last season with Caitlin Ford, and we see this season, with Emily Fox. And the other question about Jenna Neiswanger, I hope that she will get minutes in the next games, because Emily came last year during the winter break, and when the season continued, Emily started every game. So why not start or bring Emily in? That's a question we have to discuss for the League Cup game. I think why we didn't make earlier subs or didn't start Katie, didn't bring Jenna in. It's a problem. If you don't rotate, your players are overplayed, will get tired, will not be as effective as they could be, and I think that's the problem for Emily at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an overplay. I'm not so much overplaying, lack of break. She just doesn't have a break, has she? She's played, I don't know how many games she's played in the last sort of year and a bit, a lot. And I just think it's just caught over a little bit, hasn't it, maybe? And I think that may be why she's not looks quite as strong as she did, before. But, what do you do? Like you said, we've got rid of Laura now, and we've only really got Katie Reid as a backup, and that's not even her natural position. She's played okay there. You wouldn't really want to be playing her in the WSL too often in the big games in that position. So it's a tough one. Yeah, we maybe needed to buy a right back if we're going to let Laura go. We maybe need to bring another right back in as cover, and we didn't. I'm sure. Emily's a great player. Fox is brilliant, isn't she? And she is going to be okay. And she's just maybe not quite as in good a form as she was. But yeah, it is probably tiredness, quite honestly, because she's literally played, and she plays at 100 miles an hour when she plays, doesn't she? She doesn't go into a game and gives 50%. She's always everything. She gives everything, doesn't she? So of course it's going to take it out of her, absolutely. And I don't think we should necessarily be too critical of her. I think she needs a break. She might well get a break at the weekend in the FA Cup, we'll see. I want to see Jenna, see what she can do. Obviously, she's a new player. We like seeing new players and what they can do. We want to see Chloe Kelly play as well. I know she can't play Saturday either because she's cup tied, but interesting to see how they both do, what impact they can have between now and the end of the season. And yeah, let's see. I'm surprised she hasn't played, Jenna, so far. I'm surprised she hasn't got any minutes at all. I thought she may have come on in a couple of the games, but you know, Renee knows best apparently. So we'll trust what Renee wants to do at the minute and not worry too much at the moment. Lucky says, do you guys think Renee was first choice coach? If yes, why did it take so long to give her the job? I think they couldn't get who they wanted. Well, you see, that's a question, isn't it? I mean, we've spoke about this on the show a few times. Why did it take that long? If she was who they wanted, why didn't they just give it to her October, November, December? Why did they wait till January? I agree with you there. I'm a little bit concerned as to whether she was first choice. Apparently, they spoke to what, 30 people or something, didn't they? They said so. I don't know where all them 30 people were. Probably just people off the street that they thought might do a good job. I don't know. Was she for? We'll never know, will she? At the end of the day, they've given her the job, so she's the final choice that they picked. Whether she was the first choice, could they not get the one they really wanted? Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't want to think that's the case, but you could be right. You could be right. And they maybe in the end thought, well, Renee's done all right. We'll keep what we've got. It's better the devil you know sometimes, isn't it, than bringing someone fresh in that might have thrown out all the work that we've done over the last few years and started afresh. It takes time to rebuild. Maybe they thought Renee was a safe bet because she was working under Jonas, and it's an easy transition, isn't it, rather than throwing everything out the window and starting again, which takes time and money. And I don't know whether or not the club wanted to do that. Who knows? But we'll never know, will we? I suppose they're never going to come out and say, "Oh, well, no, Renee wasn't first choice." Never going to say that. We'll never know. We just have to hope that she was the best candidate that they found. But anyway, she's done okay so far, but we need to be better, obviously. LG going back to Stina says strikers miss chances, but they have to be far and between, few in between. Stina is extremely poor on one-on-one. Well, I don't know if she's extremely poor. She scores a lot of one-on-one, but she misses chances. Yeah, of course. She's a striker. Erling Haaland misses hundreds and hundreds, and no one criticises him because he scores 40 goals a season, but he plays every minute of every game. He's always on the pitch to score. As soon as Stina has a game when I'm surprised she's lasted 90 minutes the last two games, because usually she misses a chance or two, she gets taken off. Whereas everyone else keeps their striker on and they score. And Stina did score on Sunday, proved the point. Keep her on and she'll score. Give her chances, keep her on and she scores. But I don't know, you know, is she world-class striker? No, she scores a lot of goals, and that's important. Vicky P says, last night was the worst game I've seen Leah play. Well, I don't know if it's the worst one. I think she's had a few poor games, actually, to be fair. El Loco says, when Palova returns to starting, I see her replacing Mariona in number 10 and the Spaniards supporting our attack. See, I'm not sure. I would be playing Palova in that deeper role where Leah Volsi's been playing, or Kim Little. I'd play her there with Kyra. And I think last season when them two played together, it was really good and it was exciting and they had energy. But we'll see. I mean, I just want to see Vicky playing again because I think we've missed her. Lucky says, if you could take 3 players from other teams, who would they? Oh, 3 players from other teams. Wow. I suppose they'd be from Chelsea probably, wouldn't they? Because they've got the best team, I guess. I'll tell you what, we'll have a think about that. We'll come back to that before a bit later on, because I think we need to think about that, because that's a big question. 3 players from any team, that is a big question. So we'll have a think about that, Andreas, as well. We'll come back to that. It's a great question, actually. So we will. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. What 3 players would we want? Okay, right. We'll have a think about it. Anyway, talking of 3 players, we've got 3 players now. Look, we've got a 3rd player, and Amar is with us. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. All good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Obviously, last night, not last night, sorry, Sunday, the Man City game, the first one, getting confused with the Man City game. It seems to be an Arsenal game 50 times in the last week. Obviously, we won the game. It was a good win. What did you make of the performance? Because obviously, we made some mistakes in the game. We know that. But in the end, we got the 3 points, and that's what matters, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a madcap game, wasn't it? I mean, you could tell. I always said for Manchester City's defence, they've conceded, 6 goals in the last 2 games, 4 against United, 2 against United, and then they also conceded 2 against Villa as well. And I always thought we got such a brilliant start. But we started so well, 2-0 after 7 minutes, such a dangerous scoreline. But then we didn't really play much for the rest of the half. We dominated, weren't we? If you think about it, they had the better chances. It could easily have been 2-2 or even 3-2 to them half time. I think, was it Van Domselaar? Daphne made a brilliant save to deny Yui Hasegawa when it was 2-1. That was a great save. And also, yeah, I mean, I maybe put her at fault slightly for the first goal, but no, it was a good cross. But we couldn't handle it. Steph down that left. Normally she's very capable. She was actually being given a hard time down there, left hand side by Fujino had a number the whole of that first half, and we're lucky to go in early 2-1 in front. And then you just knew after that second half. I mean, anything could happen. We gifted them a goal. Why we consistently try to play out of the back? I have no idea. It just doesn't work. It's just why does not just punt the ball long and if only. I don't know why teams try to play out of the back. You could even see last night how many times we were giving the ball away. And then we go and score up the other end. They get one of the worst, another controversial penalty decision going against us. It's never a penalty in a million years. How the referee even hesitates and then still gives a penalty. The foul was miles outside the box.
Yeah.
We composed ourselves really well, and after that we restricted a few chances. Carolyn and Bunny Shaw didn't really have much of a looking after that. And in the end, it was a brilliant assist from Beth to win the game, and we were able to see it out. So that was a good win, yeah. But I mean, you just exposed maybe a little bit our defensive deficiencies against better teams, which maybe the other teams we played, as you say, during Renee's run so far, they haven't been able to be exposed. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing maybe we can improve going forward, is just trying to stop the needless playing out of the back and stop giving the ball away cheaply to the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, we can't keep conceding goals like we. I know the penalty was obviously we know that was another shocker from the officials, an absolute shocker. But we did concede too many chances in that game, and that is something that has been a surprise because we've been so solid, haven't we, since Renee's come in? So I don't know what particularly went wrong in that game defensively, but anyway, let's hope that's generally a one-off. Although obviously it wasn't necessarily a one-off due to what we saw last night. Let's have a look what comments we've got. Vicky's given her 3 players. Viv, Walsh, and no, I mean Walsh, yes. Hemp, yes. Okay. Viv, no. Viv's ship has sailed. It has sailed. Sorry, it has.
I've got 2. I've got 2. I'm trying to think of the third.
Ryan says Cannerid and Casper. Yeah, I mean Cannerid's good. Yeah, Cannerid is good. I agree. Would I want her in our team? I don't know. I need to think a bit more about that. LG says Kyra and Vicky are more attacking and defensive. They are 8. You need someone who is an anchor to play with either one of them. That's why I feel long term we need a proper 6 to replace Kimberly. No, I kind of agree with you, but I thought Vicky last season did play that role a lot. And I thought she was good in that role. Is it her best position? I don't know. But I thought she was really good there, especially in that Continental Cup final against Chelsea. She basically marked Erin Cup out of the game, didn't she? She's bullied all over the pitch. Can do that job. And I'd have no problems with her playing as a 6, actually. And I think she'll do a really good job there. But I don't know. I think she's got more energy than Kim and Leah now. And I don't know. I'd like to see her there. And obviously, I think her and Kyra were a good partnership last year, and that we need to work on it and develop it a bit more. Obviously, it's still young. They didn't play much together because obviously Vicky was injured this season, and Kyra didn't play much last season, did she? Anyway, Lucky says the 3 players they'd take from other teams. Hasegawa, that's a good shout. Lauren James and Walsh. Lauren James
doesn't necessarily have to be WSL teams, though, does it?
Controversial one. Lauren James is a controversial. I mean, on her day she can be dangerous. We know that, but I don't like her attitude. I'd say 2 out of 3 of them I would kind of almost agree with. Hasegawa's a great player. Walsh is fantastic, we know. But Lauren James, I don't know. I wouldn't like her at Arsenal again. I think that's it. LG says this is why a Mariona Kyra double pivot was often ran through, because they're not destroyers or deep line playmakers. Yeah, but I think with Vicky in there, I think that will make a difference. But let's see. Alex says, I think Arsenal has a very good chance against. Yeah. We'll talk about the floor as well a bit later on. Absolutely, we will. Joe says, playing out from the back, my pet peeve. Seen too many weak teams do this. Why have a press? I agree. I've said this since it started becoming a thing. Playing out from the back. Very, very few teams are good enough to be able to get away with it 9 times out of 10. Most teams get away with it maybe 50% of the time. To me, it's not worth the risk. Look at the men's game on Wednesday, gifted the second goal by messing around in the back. How many times has that happened? Obviously, the women have done it as well, as we've seen. And it's not just Arsenal that are falling into the trap. It's everybody. Every team's doing it in the Premier League, and every team's making mistakes and conceding goals. Southampton earlier in the season were doing it every single game, conceding 3 or 4 every game doing it. Why would you keep doing it? Why would you keep doing it? I don't understand what's so fascinating with it. I don't understand why it's become a thing. Well, you get the goalkeeper gets the ball and he's got the ball in his hands, right? And he can bully out the pitch to get it away, get the ball away from your goal. And they don't. They put it on the floor on their feet and they try and think they're like Beckenbauer. I'm sorry, you're a goalkeeper. You're a goalkeeper. Do your job. You don't really see. I mean, you don't really see Daphne doing it too much. You know, no. Yes, we do it, and she does do it. But you know, you see other teams. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's the most suicidal thing you can do in football. I really do not understand why teams keep doing it. Unless you've got a fantastic, great footballing goalkeeper, unless you've got a back four and the central midfielder who are comfortable with their facing their own goal under pressure and can stop a press, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because now teams are sussing it out. All you've got to do is press early, press high, press aggressively. And you look what we did against Man City, Mariona, first, second of the game, bang, press, got a goal. You know, I say the men's team against Newcastle, early press, got a goal. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why teams? I don't know why coaches haven't actually sat down, analysed the game, and thought, you know what, we've conceded 50% of our goals by playing it out from the back. So maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. Maybe that might be a way forward. That might improve our defence. We might concede a few less goals if we stop doing it. But for some reason, they're watching it. I don't know what they see. They must watch the games, analyse them. And they're not picking it up. They're not picking up the fact that we're playing it out from the back. Or it does. Teams are playing it out from the back and conceding goals, but they keep doing it. They keep doing it. I don't get it, mate. I do not understand it. And I agree. It's my pet peeve as well. And it needs to be stopped. I don't know how we can stop it. It needs to be stopped because it's horrible to watch. And I don't think you get any benefit from doing it. Miss Pink Doctor said Hempo, Turland, and Anarid. Turland's an interesting one. Turland isn't interesting. I think Hempo's a great shout. I think I would
Turland, but it doesn't necessarily have to be for the domestic league. I think I would look across to Europe as well. You say, I'm thinking European players.
Yeah, but I think the players that play in the WSL can walk straight into our team, can't they? Whereas a player from abroad might need 6 months to settle, or they might never adapt to the WSL. I'd like to. If I was getting free players, I would get free players from the WSL into our team. I think it's the best way to improve the team straight away. But I mean, you can pick who you want. It's free players. It was a question, so you know, pick whatever free players you want. Whatever. LG says she's a good double pivot with Leah Kim, who are 60s. You can't play Vic and Kyra as a double. Well, no, we don't need to play a double pivot all the time, though, do we? We don't need to always play a double pivot. Again, that's a bit like playing it out from the back. It's a new thing. You don't need a double. You don't need 2 6s. Most times you don't. You can get away with 1 6 and 1 8 like you used to do. Don't play out from the back. Play a 6 and an 8 in midfield. 2 wide players and play to percentages. It's better. So I don't think you need 2 6s anyway. We don't need to play 2 6s, especially at home against the weaker teams. Why do you need 2 6s? You don't. If anything, play 2 8s against, on Sunday, for example. We can play 2 8s on Sunday. You know what I mean? Why even think about the double bit? Maybe Chelsea away, you might want to play 2 6s. Yeah, I agree. Be a bit more structured defensively. Man City away, maybe games like that. Champions League away games, absolutely. But for most games, you don't need 2 6s. You absolutely don't need. So you could play Leah and you could play Vicky, for example. Not a problem for me in the WSL. Not a problem at all. Especially in the home games. Every single home game I'll play that because we don't need that, do we? The defense is fairly decent anyway, and we should be dominating the game. We should be in possession and taking charge of the game. And having 2 6s, I think, is a very Mikel Arteta negative, boring style. And we don't need to do that. we don't need to do it. So let's forget about 2 6s. We don't need them. LG says everybody's trying to copy Pep. Well, why would you want to copy Pep when? Unless you've got the players Pep's got, it's not going to work, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not going to work. I've seen Sunday League teams try and play it out from the back. Do you know what I mean? Why are they doing it? They ain't got the players to do it. They've got the pitches to do it on. It's ridiculous. But I don't know. I mean, it is a Pep thing, obviously. Barcelona and stuff like that, isn't it? That's what it is. Greg's picked one of his 3, Stanway. There's a good shout. Georgia Stanway, of course. Yeah, very good player. Why not? Not in the WSL at the minute, of course, as we know. there's been a few good names here actually. We'll come up with our three before too long. Don't worry about that. Now, of course, following the brilliant league victory over Man City, unfortunately, Andreas was right. You can't play the same team in the UK and win both games. And I thought he was going to be wrong last night. I thought Arsenal were going to prove him wrong and win both games, but no, it wasn't to be. And in the end, unfortunately, grip on the League Cup, Subway Cup as it is now, is over. Disappointing, I think, last night. I think we have to say it was a disappointing performance all the way through, really. We wasn't great in the first half. We were better than we were in the first half in the second half, but we still wasn't great. We probably deserved it to be 1-1. Perhaps Man City had the better chances. And of course, to lose in the basically last kick of the game is what it was really tough to take, wasn't it? But I don't know, that the performance last night just wasn't anywhere near the level it had been on Sunday. It wasn't good enough for a cup semi-final against a good team, and I don't know why. I don't know what went wrong. Man City were better. They approached the game in a different way. They changed their kind of structure of their team to counteract where they'd gone wrong on Sunday. We didn't really change too much, did we? We pretty much played the same system that worked, and it's obvious Man City weren't going to do the same. I thought we had to be a little bit more cleverer last night, and understand that Man City would have made adjustments to counter the game on Sunday, and we just went into it exactly the same way. And Man City were much better, and we couldn't adjust it during the game and react to it at all. And I thought that was quite poor last night. I mean, Andres, what did you make of it? Because it was such a bad performance. It's difficult to know where to start with it, really, because I was so frustrated, because I thought we had a great chance to win that game and go through to the final again and beat Chelsea 3 years in a row. And it was just so disappointing, wasn't it? Where did it all go wrong last night?
First of all, to be fair, the better team has won yesterday, and City deserved to go through. It's a fact. As hard as it is, I think we have to be fair and say City was the better team. Everything went wrong yesterday. I think we were too predictable. Of course, City would make adjustments or change things after they lost at home, and they would want to change something, and we didn't change anything. And even in the lineup, I would have expected Katie McCabe to start, as she was back from her two game span, and that would have been better. If you don't want to start her at left back, then okay, let Steph Catley be left back, and then play Katie on the wing, as Caitlin Ford was obviously not at 100%. Then Mead picked up a niggle in before the warm-up. She didn't really warm up. She was on the bench, but not ready to come on. So, I think there was in the lineup there were mistakes, and we know that that the combination of Kyra and Mariona does not really work defensively. They are good in the build-up. They are offensive oriented, but defensively it doesn't work. So was Wally 100% fit? I don't know. I would have loved to see more changes, and then the Leslie Russo on the wing thing, it doesn't work. Why trying again and not changing something after the first half, which was really terrible. The players were not good. The tactics was not good. I think Renee was outcoached yesterday, and and even when we were level, then 1-1, and there's a chance to go to extra time. Why not make changes at the 80th, 85th minute, waiting for the extra time, and then bring on fresh legs? Well, you have to reach extra time first. We didn't reach it. We were prepared to bring 2 or 3 players for extra time, but we didn't reach extra time. And then the defending at the 95th minute was terrible. I think there were 5-6 Arsenal players around, standing around, watching what Mary Fowler was doing, and she can score seconds before the final whistle from outside the box. I don't understand what was going on there, but it was just to summarize the whole game in this last second of the game. Of course, when you score the equalizer, when your goalkeeper saves a penalty, then the momentum should be on your side. But it wasn't. City was the better team, had the better.
Yeah, 100%.
And Daphne had a few very good saves during the game.
Yeah.
She kept us in the game, not only with a penalty, with other saves. I think it was one of our worst games in the last month. And yeah, as hard as it is, City deserved the win. And yeah, I'm sad to be out of cup. But with such a performance, you don't deserve to reach the final.
No, I must admit, yes, I mean, I know I said it before that the quality of the opposition has improved in the last few weeks than it was before Christmas in particular. We've started to play some of the top teams. And suddenly for me, as much as I like Renee and I think she's done really well, you're starting to see maybe her inexperience at this level. Because like you said, I think the Chelsea game, tactically, we wasn't great. We were close to getting a result in that game, but I didn't think tactically we were that good in that game. Like you said, last night, tactically, we were terrible, really. That was a really bad tactical game from the manager in a big cup semi-final. And it's moments like that, you know, a top manager wins you the big games. That's how you know you've got when they coach you to wins in big games. That's a great manager. And you know, Jonas, to be fair to him, he had a decent record in some of those big games, didn't he, over the last couple of years? And we got big result. Obviously, he reached 2 cup finals. We won 2 cup finals. You know, he got to a semi-final in the Champions League. We were very, very close to getting to the final that year. We was unfortunate with the injuries and stuff. So, you know, and I'm not sure. I'm not going to write Renee off quite yet after 1 cup defeat and 1 league defeat. But I thought tactically she was naive last night, very naive with her team selection, with the tactics in the game and her inability. Like you said, why not try and win? Don't think about going to extra time. Try and win the game in 90 minutes. Bring subs on to win the game. Don't save them for extra time. Like you said, we hadn't got to extra time still, even though 95 minutes on the clock, we hadn't made it to extra time. Try and win the game. Make subs to win the game and try and make the adjustments needed in that game because we didn't really get going. And a few little tweaks here and there, a couple of substitutions could have made a massive difference. And we'll never know because it didn't happen. And I think Renee needs to, obviously, was responsible for that last night. And the players didn't play particularly well. And there was too many of them looked maybe tired. I don't know if that was the reason. But, yeah, last night got me thinking for the first time, really, is Renee really a top coach who can win us big trophies? It started to make me doubt that now. And yes, I'm not going to write, as I said, it's early days and we've got plenty of big games for her to prove herself. But this is the first time I'm starting to question her. Is she actually the top level coach that we need to take us to the next level, which is winning bigger trophies than just the League Cup? And it was just the League Cup last night, but even so, it was a poor tactical performance from Renee, I thought. And yeah, she needs to do better. With, you know, Champions League coming round, and you know, that's when we're going to really see maybe a little bit more what she's about when we get to the closing stages of that competition, if we're fortunate enough to do that. So yeah, Renee's got to still got a lot of work to do. She's still got to prove herself at this level. It's all very well winning titles in Sweden, in Rosenborg, wherever it was, Rosengard, sorry. You know, that's fair enough, but you've got to prove yourself at the top level. You're Arsenal now. We're a big club. We're expected to compete and win trophies, at the top trophies. So, yeah, I was disappointed last night, really disappointed with the way we played, the way Renee managed the game. Really, really poor. And yeah, we're out of a cup that we've enjoyed the last couple of seasons, but I suppose you're not going to win the cup every single season. No, you're not going to win the same cup all the time. Eventually, you're going to get knocked out. And yeah, it was just a shame it was with such a whimper, really, because, you know, with the holders, and you expect the holders to maybe put up a bit more of a fight to get through. And I don't think we did last night. But there you go. I mean, Emma, what did you make of last night's game? Because it was, I don't know, we never got to grips with any of it, did we, from the start, really? I didn't think.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why maybe she'd want to go with the same 11 from what happened maybe bringing Leah for Beth. But I mean, you could at least brought Beth on. You know what she's like. You know, she's got the brilliant assist for Stina to win the game on Sunday. But I'm surprised she didn't even come on. She is a person who player can make a change, who can make the difference for us, as we've seen so many times in the past. But she didn't even get a minute in the end. I don't know. I mean, it does show, as you were rightly saying to me earlier, Andreas, in our chat, that it exposes our lack of squad depth that we can't have. You see, look at Manchester City. Okay, they played the same team, but they were able to bring Carolyn. She was absolutely brilliant last night. I thought many people thought about, but she could cause all kinds of problems. And added to the Figino, who I was mentioning earlier in the game on Sunday. When Naomi Lazell, who's a really versatile right back, still young, and she's going to be a good herself. And Yamashita as well, who's their #1 goalkeeper as well. But I mean, I don't know. I think when you consider it, when you consider what's been said in recent weeks, you can understand where some of the sentiment regarding squad depth is coming from. But yeah, I mean, it just goes, maybe she could have made 1 or 2 changes. But again, these players are being overplayed, and I don't know. I can understand why she wanted to play the same team, but they always had a feeling Manchester City wasn't going to be the same defensively as they were on Sunday, and they made the adjustments, as you rightly said, Andreas. And yeah, we looked well short of our best. I mean, other than the penalty, there was only 1 through ball. Maybe Leslie would Kyra a free kick into the box, but in terms of clear-cut chances, I don't really remember Yamashita having to make a save. And do you think all the chances City missed? They hit the bar twice. Jill Roarder, they had the wide. They definitely 100% deserved to win that game. They created by far the better chances and looked were more astute and had a better game plan. And credit to Gareth Taylor for executing that. And yeah, it was disappointing because it is disappointing to be out of the cup. We won the last 2 years. Okay, there's still the FA Cup and the Champions League to play for. It would be nice to win something. Hopefully, we can get to a Wembley final, which we'll talk about the opposition for Sunday a bit later. But it's hard. I mean, she's been consistently really good so far against the opposition you expect her to be, and it was good to get the win we had over City on Sunday. But now we know when the games get tougher against Real Madrid. I don't know, is she going to make those changes and be more tactically astute in that sense? But only time will tell. But against better opposition so far, we've been a bit unlucky, you could say. But also as well, we get the lack of squad depth that's been exposed, hasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily say our squad's weak. It may be weak in 1 or 2
I'm
positions.
not saying it's weak. No, I'm not saying it's weak.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just thought that. Yeah, I understand her starting the same team to a certain degree because we won the game, and you think, okay, we've got momentum from that game. But once it wasn't working, then you've got to change it. Then you've got to change it. Even if you don't necessarily make substitutions in terms of bringing players on, just change it tactically with what you've got on the pitch. Maybe move 1 or 2 players positionally and do something different to try and counteract the fact that it wasn't working. And Man City, certainly in the first half, were miles better than us. And
100%.
And I don't know. I mean, I thought we improved slightly in the second half, but like you said, you're right. We didn't create hardly anything, did we? Really, let's be honest. We didn't really create much at all. And we got the penalty. One time Stina was in behind their defence, and she won the penalty. But we didn't do that nearly enough. We didn't create. You're right. We didn't get the ball wide enough. We didn't get the ball into the box enough. We didn't put them under enough pressure. We wasn't closing down with the same aggression that we did on Sunday. And
the ball away too
nothing
easily.
worked. Nothing worked. It just wasn't our night at all. Nothing worked. And I don't know. For me, we needed to change it a lot earlier than we did. We didn't really change it at all. When we did make the subs that we did make, it was more not really changing anything. It was just bringing fresh legs on rather than actually changing the shape of the team. Caitlin Ford didn't get in the game when she came on. Was she 100% fit? I don't know.
Exactly.
Leah Walty didn't look particularly fit last night either. She was exposed a little bit in midfield. I mean, we got overrun in midfield completely last night when we hadn't on the weekend. So that was something that we should have sorted out earlier. LG says, I'm not saying we need 2 6s. All I said is we can't play 2 8s on the base of a midfield, play 1 8. Yeah, 1 6 and 1 8, I agree with you. Yeah. I think Vicky Palova could play as a 6 with someone as an 8. I think that she played there. She can play as an 8 with someone else as a 6, but she needs to get fit first and be back in the team before we start worrying too much about Vicky Palova. I don't think we're going to see much of her this season, if I'm honest. I think, she might play a bit. She'll probably make some appearances, but she's not going to be anywhere near her best. And I think we need to look for next season for Vicky to make the impact that we know she can. So yeah, but no, I agree. I think I like to play at 6 and 8 in midfield. That's how it should be. You've got the right balance, and that is a better formation for me. In certain games, maybe 2 6s, I agree, but not all the time. Greg says it would help if we played the players in the right positions. Well, yeah, obviously that's obviously important. And last night we maybe didn't. You're right. Certain players weren't playing in position. Joe says, "Evening, Rich, Lordy, and MR. I was at the game, and Russo was completely wasted out wide. Mario was better through the middle." Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. Joe says, "Was Renee naive?" I think she was. Yeah. There's two Joes. Sorry, there's Joe Mo and there's Joe G. Just so we know it's different Joe. I think she was naive. Yeah, I do. And you know, she's young. She's inexperienced to a certain degree at this top level, and hopefully she'll learn. But she's got to learn quickly because, you know, a bit like we've got Mikel Arteta in the men's team. We're not a charity. We're not giving people work experience. You know what I mean? We should be a serious club wanting to win trophies. You know, we can't sit around for 2-3 years waiting while Renee learns the job. I'm sorry, no. She was naive last night, and I say she's got to improve quickly. LG makes an interesting point here, which I totally agree with. I said a bit this last week. Arsenal is too emotional as a club. We can't follow up one big result with another big result the next game. It's the same with both men and the women. We're too complacent. I don't know if it's complacency. I think it's the focus is wrong at the club. I think we're not focused on winning trophies. We're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on yeah, I think emotional is a good word, actually. We do seem quite emotional, actually, yeah. And maybe we're more about that. We're more about vibes and happy feelings than we are about winning at whatever it takes to win the trophies and get over the line. And I agree with that. And I said that a bit last week, and I think you're absolutely right. Lucky says, do you think City will beat Chelsea in the final? If we were there,
I think they can.
Well, I think they can beat them, of course. But Chelsea haven't lost a game this season yet. So I don't know, and the final's only in 3 or 4 weeks' time, isn't it? So it's
they have to play each other four. They have to play each other 4 times before the end of the season.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they got each other in the Champions League as well. So interesting. But can they win the final? Yes. Will they win the final? No. I think Chelsea have lost it twice. They're not going to lose 3 finals in a row. I don't think
they have lost 3 finals in a row: 22, 23, 24. They lost 4 finals in a row if they lose it. Yeah.
Of course they did lose. Yeah, but they're not going to lose this.
22. They lost to 20 in 22. Yeah.
Andreas, do you think City will win the final, or do you think Chelsea will?
I think they can.
Well, they can, but will they?
Yeah, they can win, but it's a final. It's a 50-50 situation, and there's more self-confidence in the Chelsea team and the experience for the big matches. It's only 4 weeks. I don't think that Lauren Hemp will be back, so Alex Greenwood is missing in defense. Yeah, they have a good team. They can win, but Chelsea has overall the better squad, the more experience. On Pastor concerned to Gareth Taylor. So I think it's 55 to 45% for Chelsea.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'd say.
I mean, we all saw what Aston Villa did at the weekend. Look how well Aston Villa played, and maybe that's the way. And almost were unlucky with Danilo Bina for a brilliant save by Hannah Hampton. So maybe they should follow the way Aston Villa play, for example. I don't know, but it's not
Aston Villa, one of those teams that always seems to do well against Chelsea, don't they? They always all the way. They've done it a few times. Yeah. Some teams are like that, aren't they? And Aston Villa seem to give Chelsea problems. They very rarely beat Aston Villa easily, do they, Chelsea? Yeah. And I mean, but they still found a way to win, and they tend.
That's what good teams do: find a way to win when they don't play well. Exactly. Which we don't. No, we don't know, and I think they'll find a way to win that final personally. But we'll see. I'd love to see. I'd love to see City win it, obviously, because any game that Chelsea don't win is a bonus, as far as I'm concerned. Joe says, "I hope they do." Yeah, I think we all do. Lucky does as well. I think so. LG says, "Does Mary Fowler have a grudge against us?" Well, I don't know if there's a grudge against us, but she's just a good player. You know, she's a very good player, isn't she? And she scored 4 goals in those 2 games against us this last week. Wow. Yeah, and she's a fantastic footballer. I don't necessarily think it's against us; it's against everybody. She's in great form at the minute. She's a great player, and yeah, great players show up in big games and get big goals, don't they? So yeah, I think that's what it is. And I like Mary Fowler. Actually, talk about one of the 3 players. Maybe I think Mary Fowler would be up there for me at the minute. Yeah,
She might be one of mine. I think her and Lauren Hemp would maybe be my first two picked out of my three. I think we need players in those wide areas, and those two are really good. They score goals, they create goals. I think there'll be two of my three. I'm going for Lauren Hemp and Mary Fowler.
If you're going domestic, I would say I wouldn't disagree with you.
That'd be my. I'll think of my third one in a minute. It's maybe, I don't know what it is. I'll have to think. Vicky P says, what about the delayed start? Another embarrassment for the women's game. Well, yeah, funnily enough, last night before the game when the delay was on, I said last time we had a delayed kickoff was the Chelsea game last season with the sock issue, and then we were terrible in that game. We never got started and we lost. And last night I was worried. Before the game, I was thinking last time we had delayed kickoff, we played terribly. And then last night it was a delayed kickoff and we played terribly.
Apparently,
is it a coincidence? Was that just a coincidence, or is there something in it? You know, you're fired up for the game, you're ready to start, and then suddenly you've got to sit around for half an hour, and it takes that momentum away from you, and maybe we're not able. It's the same for both teams, of course it is, and we can't use it as an excuse. But it just seems twice in a row now we've had a delayed kickoff and we've never got going in the game, and I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to look at in future and prepare for if there is a delayed kickoff and do something different so we can maybe come out firing a little bit better. I mean, Andreas, obviously, wasn't ideal, was it, having a delayed kickoff? But surely that can't have been a reason why we were so flat, can it? It can't be.
No, it can't be an excuse for us because the situation is the same for City, and you can't say we are the home team. We wanted to start front foot, and this took off the momentum. Now we were the away team, Chelsea, when this happened last season. So no, it's not an excuse, and it's just that City was the better team, better prepared, had the better tactics. It seemed as they were sharper and don't say motivated, because we were motivated. I'm sure we wanted to win, but everything looked sharper or more concentrated, more focused from City. And as I said, they learned from their defeat on Sunday, and that's why I said a year ago, you can't win two back-to-back games when the same team. It's a rule, and it's be exciting to see when City and Chelsea play back-to-back 4 times.
Yes.
Will it be 1 win City, 1 win Chelsea, then and then Chelsea? I don't know, but it's difficult because it seems as on this level, the team that loses learns from the defeat, changes something, and the other tends to do the same again. It has worked. Oh, let's try to do the same again, and this won't work 2 times in a row.
Well, no, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, I don't know how many times a team has played the same team twice in a row and won both games. I don't know how often that has happened in history. But it doesn't seem to have happened. We don't seem to have done it, do we? In the games that we've played in recent seasons, when we've played a team twice in a row, we haven't won both games. We haven't lost both games either. So it does tend to be one or the other tend to win. So it does seem strange that it happens. Maybe the team that loses the first game do, like Man City did, change things slightly. Last season when we played Chelsea in the league and then we played them in the cup final, we made some changes because we lost the first game and it worked. And maybe that's why. Maybe the team that loses the first game changes. Makes more changes, and that is why they maybe don't lose the second game as well. So I don't. It's interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting concept, isn't it? And like you said, Chelsea and Man City are playing each other a lot in a month or so's time. That's going to be quite interesting. I don't think one team will win all 4 of those games. Absolutely not. Even Chelsea, as good as they are, probably won't win all 4 of them games. And I'm sure Man City will win at least one of them. Thrown in there, maybe a draw or 2 here and there, who knows? But it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because it's slightly different to normal when you play different teams and then you play the other team again in a few months' time. It is different, and it's quite interesting that since Andreas has said that, I don't think I've seen it happen. I don't think a team has won twice.
No.
So it is interesting, isn't it? So I don't think it can happen to us. Well, I suppose unless we get. I know it can't happen to us again this season, can it? I suppose the FA Cup could potentially throw up one. If we got a WSL team in the FA Cup and then we play them in the WSL the next week, couldn't we get through the next round, I suppose it could happen. It could happen again, but it seems unlikely. But yeah, let's hope not, because we don't really like that, do we? Ryan says, I don't think you can single out any player. The overall performance was pretty poor. Yeah, I agree. Everybody was off form last night, really, apart from maybe Daphne was the only one who really stood out. I thought she had a great game once again, and no one else really stood up and stepped up to the mark. And when you need to in a cup semi-final, if you're going to win, you have to. Your players have to step up, and we just didn't. In terms of Vicky's point about, and I don't know if it was necessarily an embarrassment. I'm not really sure what happened, other than it was an ambulance problem. Or
I think an ambulance broke down on the way to the game. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened exactly, but it's not ideal, is it, when it's a cup semi-final and there's delays, and it's not. It doesn't give a good impression, and obviously it's not the first time there's been a delayed start. It affects our games, so it's not ideal. But I don't know. It's not happening that often overall, is it? So maybe we can say, okay, these things can happen occasionally, and let's not maybe make too much of it. It was frustrating last night, definitely sitting around waiting for it to start. It was actually handy for me because it gave me a bit more time because I was running a bit late. So anyway, Greg says, Russo was scoring for fun. Why play her out wide? She should have been up front leading the attack. Marnham was only marking herself. Catley should be next to Leah. Well, it's difficult to argue any of that, really.
Yeah,
unless you really was scoring for fun before Christmas, before the break. And Steph Catley has been brilliant at centre back next to Leah. Why change that? Agree with you. We conceded 5 goals. Moving our left back, we've conceded 5 goals in 2 games. How many did we concede when she was playing at centre back? Hardly any. So crazy. Maybe looking back on it, it looked bad decisions, doesn't it? But I suppose if we beat them 4-3, if we'd managed to win again last night, would we have been that bothered? No, probably not. But it didn't work, did it? So obviously we're gonna be critical of it, of course. Ag says Man City was good yesterday, but surely they had luck as well. Well, they had a bit of luck, I suppose. Scoring the last kick of the game is quite lucky, but you make your own luck sometimes in football, don't you? And they probably did deserve it overall.
No, they did deserve 100% deserved it, no question.
Like you said, the Sandwich Cup. Well, yeah, it was a Sandwich Cup. Yeah, the Turkish Cup, says Ryan. Yeah, we don't care about it, do we? It's stupid. It was a stupid name anyway. We said that a couple of weeks ago. You don't want to win a Subway Cup, let's be honest. A Subway Cup reminds me of a little plastic thing that you have like coffee in. You know what I mean? You don't want to win that. Yeah, come on, it's ridiculous. Let Man City and Chelsea fight over that ridiculous little trophy.
Well,
we'll go.
There's going to be some fresh champions, so that'll be good.
Well, there will be, yeah. There will be. It's the first time it's been sponsored by them. Miss Pinklock says, our defence made too many poor passes. Yeah, we did. We were poor all around last night, with no doubt. It was not great, was it? Joe says, I was in the South Stand and the Man City penalty box was pretty much an empty void the whole first half. Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, we didn't create anything, did we, in that first half, really? Vicky P says, poor attendance for a semi-final. Yeah, the attendance wasn't great. I mean, the tickets weren't on sale for very long, were they? Because the quarterfinal was only the week before. So I don't know if that was why. But yeah, the attendance wasn't great compared to what it's been. Did that make any difference? Probably not. But yeah, it wasn't great. I agree. Joe says maybe plan A is the first 45 minutes. If that isn't working, then maybe second 45 should be plan B. I don't get last minute. So yeah, exactly. But you don't even necessarily have to wait 45 minutes. If it's not working after 20 minutes, then make some tweaks. There was a point where Daphne got injured. Well, apparently she got injured. She got some treatment for about 5 minutes. And all the players went over to the side, didn't they, to speak to Renee and the coaching team. Why didn't they make some adjustments then? Because in the first 20 minutes, we had you got opportunity then. In the second half, it was the same, wasn't it? There was a stop when the other goalkeeper got injured. You don't have to make substitutions to change things, do you? You can change things with what you've got. Just tweak tactically a little bit, put players in slightly different areas of the pitch. Yeah. And we didn't really do that. And I was a bit disappointed that Renee didn't make the most of those opportunities. But yeah, you should have a plan B in place anyway in your mind to think, well, if this isn't working, we'll do this.
Yeah.
And though that didn't get executed last night. And to be fair, Renee's done that quite well in other games, hasn't she? Sometimes it hasn't worked and she has changed it and it has worked and we've won. And it's maybe a little bit harsh to be criticising over one game. But like I said, I'm starting to now wonder if she's got enough about her. But we'll see. We've got a comment there, more than a wheelchair. Oh, well, I mean, I hope you are more than a wheelchair, because I mean, that wouldn't be good, would it? Says I've supported Arsenal since 1985, and I know nothing about the women's team. Never cared enough, but your shows are helping me get into it. Thank you for this. Thank you very much for watching it and your comment. I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted yeah, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show was for that reason, to try and
That's
give
great. That's great. Yeah,
more coverage and,
good stuff,
and
mate.
more
That's
exposure.
good as well.
And the fact that you've picked up on that is great. So, thank you for that. And hopefully you'll keep watching and maybe watch the games as well a bit more and get behind the team as well, because it's good. And I must admit, I've drifted more and more away from men's football in more recent years, just because of the direction men's football's going in, and women's football's kind of taking me back to what football used to be a bit more like. And I think that's why I've become more interested in women's football in more recent years, and that's the two things are kind of crossed over a little bit. But it's great that you've picked up on that, and I'm great to have you on board with us, and good to see you in the comments. Joe says, and petting a chocolate Labrador dog, sod the dog, the fashion, and yes, focus on the flow. Yeah, when I said this a bit last, I don't know if you watched the show last week. I was mentioning all this last week, that the club seemed focused on all the wrong things for me. You look at Chelsea, all Chelsea care about is winning, and that's all that matters. They don't care about all this other fluff around the outside. We need to stop worrying about all that. We need to stop jumping on every single political bandwagon going as a club. We just need to focus on the pitch. We're a sports club, we're a football team, and our job is to go out on the pitch and win games and win trophies. That's what we should be doing, and nothing else matters. Nothing else is important. And I know, in 2025, maybe people say this, that's the wrong attitude, but it's not about making everybody feel comfortable and happy and everybody welcome. That's a bonus. No one's unwelcome. It's up to each individual person if they want to come to the games or not, right? We can't make people come to the games by ticking all the boxes necessary and promoting everything else and saying this, that, and the other. The way to get people to interested in a team is to actually start winning things. That's what makes people interested. People sit up there and take notice of it. I want to watch this team because look how good they are. That's the most important thing. Nothing else matters. And if people are only going to come to football because Arsenal have got onto some campaign to let's break down these barriers, let's make these people welcome, so they've come along to the game. They've come along to the game for the wrong reasons, haven't they? They're not coming to the games because they're interested in football. They're coming along to the games because they've been told that they're welcome, not because they want to come to watch the football. Just let them come. The football will speak for itself if you allow it to. Focus on that. Make it the best it can possibly be. Get the best people in, the best managers in, the best players in. Be the best on the pitch, and the rest of it takes care of itself. Everybody will come to watch the team. Nobody will care whether the person next to you, what their sexuality is, what colour skin there is, where they come from. No one cares. We're just one big family, and we all want the same thing. And if we're not getting that same thing on the pitch, then everybody's looking everywhere else and thinking, what's wrong? Put it right on the pitch. That's all you can do. That's all you should be focused on. Stop everything else. Stop it all. End it all. Focus on the pitch, and we'll become more successful, and everything else takes care of itself. Because there are barriers in life, right? There is, and there'll always be, there always has been, and we're not going to get rid of them all. Arsenal cannot get rid of all the barriers in the world, and we don't need to. We just need to focus on being the best version of Arsenal on the pitch, because we're a football team. That's what we are, football club. Arsenal Football Club, what we are, AFC, Arsenal Football Club. What it means, it's not Arsenal Political Message Club, it's Arsenal Football Club. So let's focus on that. Focus on what we are, a football team, a football club, and let's put every effort into that, promoting that, and making sure we get the best people in, and then we'll be fine. I like Little Win the dog, right? He's cute, isn't he? Let's be honest, but we don't need him. He should be banned from the training ground. He should be banned from the club. Someone could have him in their house. That's fine. Look after him, take him for walkies, all that kind of stuff. Lovely. He's a lovely dog. But we're a football club. We're not a charity for homeless dogs. We're not. We're not shelter. We're not shelter.
Right.
Let's focus on what we are, please, and forget all the rest of it. And then I think we'll be a lot better as a football club, which we're not anymore. Let's be honest. We're not really a football club, are we? We're everything else other than a football club, and that's why we're not able to be as successful as we should be with the size of our club and our history and the money we've got and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, Lucky says the so-called pundits on TV say there's a gap between Chelsea and the rest. Do you guys think that's the case?
I wouldn't say we were better than them.
So far ahead.
I wouldn't say we were better than them.
Well, you say that. I mean, technically we maybe were better than them, but they still won both games, and that makes them better. They win games, and that makes them better. You could say we played better football, certainly in that second game recently. I thought we did. I thought we played better football in that game, but we lost. Chelsea don't care that we play better football than them. Chelsea don't care that maybe people might think we were the better team. in both games, and I can understand people saying that because in some ways we were, but we still lost. I'd rather be the worst team and win than the best team and lose, personally, and that's what Chelsea have. Chelsea have made, certainly under Emma, they made a whole history out of being the worst team and still winning. They did that so many times. I've lost track of the times I saw Chelsea play and thought they are not very good, and yet they always won.
Yeah,
so they're doing something right, aren't they? And I would rather we did that. I'd rather we play terrible and win than play brilliantly and lose. Because that's what it's about, isn't it? At the moment, we're playing terribly and losing, so it's not a great combination. But, you know, are Chelsea better than us? Yeah, of course they are, because they're miles ahead of us in the league. Look at the titles they've won compared to us. Yeah, they are miles better than us. I agree. In a one-off game, we're equal to them in a one-off game, but it's not a one-off game that matters, is it? It's a 22-game season, and it's the other competition, everything else. So, yes, they are a lot better than us overall. But in one game, we should be able to compete with anybody. In a one-off game, we're Arsenal. Of course we should. And we do. And we can. We're not doing it consistently enough over a season. And they are better than us when it comes down to that, aren't they? Let's be honest. You know, I'd have fancied their chances in the final against them if we got there again. I think, I say a one-off game, I'm not worried. But we drop points when Chelsea don't. Chelsea win the games that we don't against everybody else, and that's why we're so far behind. And they're ahead of everybody else, not just us. They're ahead of Man City, they're ahead of Man United, ahead of everyone, and they have been for a long time. And we need to find a way to cut that gap. And I don't know how we do it. Is it by spending money, getting better players? Obviously, but I think it's more than that. It's an attitude, it's a mindset, it's a mentality, as we mentioned before, and that's where Chelsea are head and shoulders above everybody. Their mentality. That's what makes them what they are. Yeah. And I think that come from Emma initially. I think it has. It's come from Emma. But then where did Emma get it from? Emma got it from Vic Akers originally at Arsenal. So it's come from Arsenal, but we've lost it and they've got it. Why is it? Where's that gone wrong? Why haven't we still got it? Because it came from Arsenal, didn't it? We used to win everything every year. Win, 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 win. That's all we did. Now the only win we've got's the dog. That's it. Ryan says the women's team started in 1987, I believe, but only started for 4 years. Yeah, 1987 was when they were formed. Yeah, didn't really start playing in leagues until the early 1990s. But yeah, 4 years ago was great. There's nothing wrong with saying you've only followed them for 4 years. As long as you've got into it and doing it, that's what it matters. Doesn't matter how long it is. But yeah, 1987 it was. Yeah, Greg says, who cares who's going to win the final? We're not there. Well, yeah, exactly. That's a point. But do we want Chelsea to keep winning everything? though? No, we don't, do we?
No, we don't.
So we'd like City to win, but do we really care? No, I don't really care. In fact, I doubt I'll even watch it, if I'm honest. I probably won't. I'll just look at the score at the end and think, oh, well, okay, Chelsea won again.
Well, maybe you never know.
Joe says, I think Arsenal's terrible start made Chelsea look even more exceptional, plus other teams being too weak. I don't know. Yes, our terrible start obviously didn't help us, but I think Chelsea, they've dropped 2 points in the league. That start would make no difference. We're about to win every game to have beaten them. So I don't know. I don't think it's just because of that. It didn't help, but it's not like they've dropped a few points in the meantime, because they haven't. 2 points they've dropped all season, 1 draw. That's it. I don't know. I think they are miles better than us. I'm sorry. I don't like to admit it, but they are. You've only got to look at the league table. It doesn't lie. Joe says City came out again before kickoff to do a mini warm up. We didn't. Oh, did they? Okay, I didn't see that because we didn't have any coverage of it. There you go. Maybe that explains it. Maybe they were more ready for the game, and we'd done our warm up and we'd cooled down, and then we wasn't ready. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I did in a change room, I suppose. But yeah, no, that's interesting. That is interesting. Lucky says they're Man United 0 Leicester. Is it Man United 0 Leicester 1? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Interesting.
I didn't even know there was a game on. Oh wait, FA Cup. That's tomorrow.
The FA Cup
tomorrow, isn't it?
No, it's the FA Cup tonight. No, that game's tonight. That was the first FA Cup game. Yeah.
No. Oh, wow. I didn't. Oh wow.
LG says it could be 5 games in a row.
No.
If they draw each other in the FA Cup. Well, yeah, I suppose that's true. If they draw each other in the FA Cup, it could be 5 in a row, but I don't suppose they will.
Sorry, sorry, I forgot it was men's FA Cup. Sorry, I thought it was talking about women's FA Cup. I got confused. Talking about men's FA Cup. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the men's FA Cup. Yeah. It'd be funny if they lost to Leicester when it's Van Nistelrooy their manager. They obviously got rid of him, Man United, didn't they, when he was in charge before they got Elmore.
They did.
Vicky P says, Asante was at the game last night, walking about unnoticed. Fans do not know our club's history. Yeah, well, I think a lot of that is what you've got to remember, Vicky, is right. Even as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, what was the crowd like at Meadow Park? You know what I mean? It wasn't very big. There wasn't many
Yeah.
fans there. So we can't expect now, just because suddenly now everybody's coming to the games. We've sell out the Emirates. We can sell 40,000 for some games as well, normal games, and Meadow Park's a sellout whenever we play there. Just because we've now got all these new fans, we can't expect them to understand the history of the club because it takes longer than that. Hopefully, a lot of these fans that are starting to go to games now will start to look into the history and understand the history of the great players that we've had, the great moments that we've had, the stuff that we've won, and hopefully they will. But you know, I'm not overly bothered about that. You know, they'll discover it or they won't, as long as they come and watch the games and supporting the team.
Yeah.
But now that's the most important thing, isn't it? You know, if everybody starts getting involved now, you can't go back and wish you'd done it 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't matter. It's what we do now going forward that's important. And if people want to find the history, it's there. Not enough of it's there, actually. It's quite difficult to find out much of the Arsenal women's history. It's not like the men's team where you can look up in Google and there's books about it. It's a lot more difficult to find it, but it's there. If you're interested, you'll find it, and hopefully people will, because it's a great history. Absolutely. Miss Pinkstall says, I hollered for subs at 60 minutes, and you said it was too early. Well, no, I thought it was too early at that point, yeah. But maybe you were right in the end. I would have thought maybe 65, 70 minutes is the time to bring your subs on, but obviously we lost the game, so I was wrong. Joe says, what do you make of Alan Brazil's comments about no one caring about women's football? Well, Alan Brazil cares more about what he eats than anything else, doesn't he? Because he weighs about 50 stone and how much he drinks. He should weigh more about that than commenting on things he doesn't understand.
Did he actually
say
let
him. He did say that, yeah, on Talk Sport. He did, yeah. Did you hear that, Andreas? I don't know whether you get Talk Sport in Germany. If you're lucky, if you don't, because it's absolute crap. But did you hear that?
I didn't hear it, but I read about it and his discussion or his argument with Shiban, and invite him to the Emirates for the North London derby, and he'll see how people care about women's football. It's ridiculous, and then
it's a shameful thing to say. Really, he's better than that.
He's 40 years or 50 years too late with this, and he said, or she stopped him and said her opinion and stood up for this, and this was good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, isn't it? When there's comments like that. I mean, Alan Brazil should know better. He's been involved in football for a very long time, and if he hasn't figured out that actually people do care about women's football now, then I don't know what he's been doing for the last 5 years, quite honestly, because it's it's mad. It's madness because, you know, obviously 10 years ago it probably would have been fair enough. Not many people probably did care about women's football, hardly, compared to now. But now in 2025, that's a ridiculous comment to make, isn't it? Because lots of people do care. Lots more people care than used to care. Look at the coverage it's getting on TV. Look at the attendances, not just at Arsenal but elsewhere as well. They've gone up so much in the Euros made a big difference in that as well. And I mean, Alan Brazil, I don't know whether or not you was aware of the Euros that happened a few years ago in England, and there's quite a few people cared about that when it was on. So, you know, but anyway, I don't think we should really take seriously too much anybody that's on TalkSport what they say, because most of them talk nonsense. You know, you've got Jason Cundy's on there. You know, Jamie O'Hara's on there. You know, these are people that shouldn't be anywhere near broadcasting. So TalkSport is the sun of radio, isn't it? The Sun newspaper, that is. I mean, that's what it is. Basically, the Sun on the radio. It's just the lowest common denominator for absolute morons. That's all it is. So don't pay any attention to them. Whatever they say, just ignore it. Don't listen to it. Don't comment on what they say. Same with Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher. I'm sick of people saying, "Well, Gary Neville said this." Well, don't listen to him then. Who cares? I don't care what Gary Neville thinks. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what any of them think. The only people that we care about are our supporters of our club. That's it. What other people think doesn't really matter. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. They can have it. I'm not interested though. I don't care what they say. It doesn't upset me that Gary Neville doesn't like Arsenal. Well, there's a surprise. He played against us like he didn't like us for like 20 years. Of course he doesn't like us. Jamie Carragher, he's not going to like us, is he? Because we made him look stupid when we played against him. You know, Thierry Henry made him look stupid every time we played him. So of course Jamie Carragher won't like us. You know what I mean? But don't worry about them. And I don't even care when you've got people like Theo Walcott who's nice about us, and you've got Thierry Henry who's nice about us on there. I don't care. Don't listen to them either. It doesn't matter. They're paid to give an opinion on TV and on radio, right? And you can listen to them and keep them in a job, or you can not listen to them and they won't be there.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll have better coverage if we get rid of people like that. But the more you keep listening and the more you keep commenting on it, the more they're going to stay in the job. The more they're going to say ridiculous things, because that's what gets them more money. Quite honestly. So, but anyway, Alan Brazil, you're an idiot, mate, and that's it. Which is a shame, because I did quite like Alan Brazil as a footballer, I must admit. Apart from when he played for Tottenham, of course, but when he was at Ipswich, I quite liked him. But anyway, he's an idiot. There you go. Joe says, exactly, Rich. And my third pet. Well, God, Joe's got a few pet peeves tonight, hasn't she? She's getting them all out. Get them all out in the open.
Taking the knee. Okay, I think
get it all out in the open. Stop taking. Yeah, no, another one. Absolutely right. People who are racist, intolerant of women's sport are not going to change their mind because players are grovelling on it. No, exactly, 100%. Again, it's a political statement, and political statements shouldn't be attached to sport, because it's going to lead to more divides than anything else. Because there's going to be some people that agree with it, and there's going to be some people like you and I that don't agree with it. So it causes problem. That you don't need a problem. Don't do it. There's not a problem. No one. What'll happen is you get players taking knee before the game, and then you'll get half the crowd will be clapping them, and half the crowd are sitting there thinking, why are you clapping? And it's creating a problem. That you don't need that problem. Don't do it. There's no problem, because everyone should be there for one reason only. That's to watch the football and support their team. That's all people should be at the game for, not to make political messages and clap because they've took the knee, or clap because they've waved a Ukraine flag, or whatever it might be. Right? No, keep that out of football. Focus on the game. That's it. What Newcastle did the other night, I was at the game at Newcastle. That was brilliant what they did before the game. You know, they had all the flags out for the team. They were playing all their Newcastle songs and that. And that's what you want. Focus on that. Focus on supporting your team and focus on the football. Forget everything else. It's nonsense. And that is, actually, Joe, you and me think exactly the same about all these things. And I agree with you 100%. So that's great. But you're right.
Let's talk about
any of that. Yeah. Greg says, we're a charity for Swedish rejects. No, we're not.
No, that's harsh, mate. That's harsh.
He's obviously joking. Joe says, Brazil is a dinosaur, and well done to Xi'an for not letting him off. No, exactly. That's all she could do, wasn't it, really? That's all you can try and do. But like you said, it's not going to change much in the long term, is it? Alan Brazil's still going to be an idiot, and he's still not going to watch women's football, and he's still going to think women's football rubbish, like Joey Barton is another one who's made some negative comments about women's football. You know, but let them go.
We just ignore them, mate. Just ignore them. They don't know what they're talking about. We enjoy what we love. We just carry on what we do, and just leave them behind. Those guys are not living in the 21st century if they think that. They're living in. It's like with attitudes. Okay, in a different aspect. I don't want to sound a bit controversial here. But it's like towards people who look at the attitudes towards homosexuals, for example, in the past. They're still drowned up, but they're still looked down upon as well, and people still have negative things about them to say as well. So I mean, I think it's perfectly acceptable.
But people, at the end of the day, we like a football club isn't going to change the society enough. It's not going to be able to change society enough. Changing society needs to come from government level, really. And if government can't change society, then the football club's got no chance. So
exactly. Don't get them involved in. Don't, as you said, don't let it become political.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep out of that. Do your job, what you're doing, which is there to be a football club, and let the government deal with all the other stuff, the political stuff. Let them sort it. That's their job. So let everyone do their own job. Yeah, we're saying like last night, players playing in the wrong position. Everyone does their right job that they're supposed to do, and everything works better. As we saw last night, players out of position doesn't work. Do a job that isn't your job, and it's not going to work. Let everyone concentrate on their own jobs. Lucky's got a question for Andreas. He says, which UK teams are most popular in Germany? Obviously Arsenal, but who else?
Chelsea?
No, I think Chelsea. No, I think it's Man United, to be fair.
Man United?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it has to do with their history, the Ferguson area, and I think they, not only in Germany, but in Europe overall, in the world, it's such a big name, and it could be Man United who is the most popular. Because for me, it's Arsenal, but I'm not the only one that counts, so I would say United. Definitely not Chelsea and not City. Maybe during the Kloppo years, it was Liverpool was very popular in Germany.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see why. I mean, to be honest with you, if you go anywhere in the world, Man United are probably the most popular club, aren't they? Wherever you go, you always, and I think Arsenal are up there, I think Liverpool are up there, and everybody else probably isn't really. Chelsea and Man City haven't got much rich history going back very long, have they? Whereas Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool have. And I think Man United probably are the most popular club in the world anyway, everywhere. probably. So that doesn't surprise me at all, actually. Greg says, don't forget Brazil is Scottish, so football knowledge is very little. That's true. I think Brazil's knowledge of everything's got frazzled by the amount of drink he consumes personally. But anyway, Ryan says Brazil nuts. Yeah, that'd be a good headline, wouldn't it? That would be a very good headline. There you go. Greg says to Vicky, we did, but that was past. Men's team was good in the past, and the next game is all that matters. No, exactly. Yeah, you're right. And talking about the next game, well, it's not going to be the next game, but of course today there was quite an exciting. Well, I say exciting. They make it a lot more duller than it needs to be. There was, of course, a draw at lunchtime, wasn't there? And we were in it. And it's the Champions League, and it's good that we're in it. And it wasn't a bad draw, was it? So Real Madrid, of course, it is, and after that, it is Lyon or Bayern Munich in the potential semi-finals if we get through. So hasn't worked out too bad, has it? Let's be honest; it could have been worse. We've probably got the best draw we could have hoped for. I think you wanted Real Madrid in the first place, didn't you, Andreas? When we talked about it before, so you must be over the moon with how that worked out today.
Yeah, it was the draw that I was hoping for, and I still think Real Madrid is the weakest from the 8 teams that are still in.
Are they?
It's not a piece of cake to beat them. It will be difficult, and we saw that Chelsea had their problems to beat them twice. And if you think about the squad, Madrid, then the names that go pop up are Caroline Weir, Melanie Leupolz, which from Bayern Munich and Chelsea.
Linda Caicedo.
I think they have a few good players. I was just checking their squad for the names.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing right now.
Carmona in defense is Spanish international, or Sandy
Del Castillo,
French international. So they have really good players, but we have the better team, and if we don't suffer too many injuries before March, before we play them, then we should be able to go through. Maybe we can get away with the draw there, but at home at the Emirates, normally I see them at a level like Juventus Turin, and we saw how Juve was outplayed from Bayern and from us. So we should go through. It's the best draw we could have. If we don't qualify for the semifinals against Real Madrid, then we don't deserve it. We have no excuse. It's not Barcelona, it's not Lyon or Chelsea. It's Real Madrid. It's a team that is beatable, and we are the favorites in this draw. Yeah.
Here's a question. Just on that. Here's a quick question for you. Sorry to disturb you, Richard. You really think that Wolfsburg are stronger than Real Madrid, though? I'm not convinced Wolfsburg's stronger than Real Madrid.
I think they are.
Yeah, I suppose you just got. But you look at them; they're only 5 points. They're only 5 points behind Barcelona in the Spanish league because Barcelona have been dominant for so long, and they're starting to show weakness. So yeah, I mean, it's still going to be tough, but I think it is probably the best draw, as you say.
Yeah.
I think Wolfsburg is stronger because they have more experience, and if
fair enough.
Hendrik, Pop, Hood, they have a lot of experience.
That's right. Sorry.
Games, and Madrid not. Real Madrid didn't go through. I think it's quarterfinal the best they reached in the Champions.
Yeah, they've never been to a semi-final. No, I don't think so.
So I think Wolfsburg would be more dangerous, and as I said, it won't be easy.
No,
it will be hard work and 2 tough games, but normally we should be able to beat Madrid.
Yeah, I agree. I was happy. I was happy with that draw.
I was delighted with that draw.
I was happy with that. It was, like you said, it couldn't have gone any better, really, could it? I do think they are probably the weakest team that were in there. And we've got into the good half of the semi-final draw as well, really, haven't we? Let's be honest. The easier
brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Not that it's easy in a semi-final of the Champions League, but it's the easier draw that of what we could have got. Like he says, I watched Real Madrid a few times. They're not all that. No, I don't. I mean, they're a good team, but no, they're not better than us. I think we should win over 2 legs. Like he said, semi-final predictions. I'm going Barcelona, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Lyon would be my 4. Andreas, what would be your 4 semi-final finalists?
Yeah, I think I would agree.
Sorry, say them again. I didn't quite catch that. Say them again.
Yeah, Barcelona will go through against Wolfsburg.
Yes.
Man City, yeah, Chelsea probably, and Bayern, Lyon.
You can't go against Bayern.
I want to go for Bayern to go through against Lyon. It's 50-50, I think, and of course we will beat Real. Yes, and then let's see. The best would be to face again Bayern. Yeah.
It probably would be better for us to face Bayern out of the two. I agree, but I think Lyon will probably go through. I just fancy that they will. And I don't see any reason why we can't beat Lyon over 2 legs. I really don't. You know, we'd have to obviously play well, but let's get through the quarterfinal first. We'll start worrying about the semi-final.
Absolutely, no. Game at a time. One game at a time. The old cliche. One game at a time. One game at a time.
Exactly. That's all we can do. Greg says, I think that was the best chance to get. So it does, absolutely. That's all you can hope for, isn't it? Get that best, but you've got to make the most of the draw by actually winning. I watched the draw live when Real Madrid came out of the ball. I was literally on my knees and got overjoyed. I think we all felt the same, mate. You kind of summed up how we all felt at that point. We were all kind of hoping, please be Arsenal, and it was. Lucky says there, Barca beat Chelsea, Arsenal, Lyon. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. LG says, has the same team ever played each other 4 times in a row? I've never seen it happen. No. They may have done. I mean, I know back in the day when there used to be hundreds of replays in the FA Cup, I think we played Sheffield Wednesday about 5 times in a row because it was 5 replays. Yeah, it doesn't. It won't happen anymore because that doesn't happen anymore, does it? Joe says we have the best chance of progress by drawing Real Madrid.
Very good.
And I'm excited. It's going to be that'll be a great game. Let's hope that obviously the first leg goes quite well then, because we don't want to be going into it with a big job to do. But that should be good. We've got a great chance, of course. There's Wolfsburg playing a stronger league. Playing against Barcelona and average teams. But maybe you're right, but I don't know. Yeah, Wolfsburg do play a stronger league, and it probably makes a difference, I suppose. But Real Madrid have had a good season. Joe says anyone but Chelsea. God, I feel like no, I agree. Yeah, with anyone but Chelsea pretty much sums up how we all feel, really, isn't it? About any game, any competition, we don't care who wins as long as it's not Chelsea. Or if it's not us, it can't be Chelsea. Obviously, we want us to win them all, but you're right. Anyone but Chelsea is exactly right. But no, it's a good draw. Happy with that. Looking forward to it, and let's hope that we can give a good account of it. I mean, another semi-final would be great, wouldn't it? Last time we were in the Champions League, we got to the semi-final. Yeah. Let's do it again. And then hopefully this time we'll be in a stronger position in terms of who's fit and who isn't. And, let's see if we can. Oh, wouldn't it be great to get to the final? Wow, that would be incredible.
Oh, then we'd do a live show from Lisbon.
We'd have to do it, wouldn't we? We'd have to do a live show from Lisbon Square or something, wouldn't we? In the sunshine in May. That'd be incredible. But we've got a lot of work to do to get there. So Renee and the girls, if you're listening, come on. You want us to be there, don't you, in Lisbon? You want to see our show in Lisbon, don't you? So all you've got to do is beat Real Madrid, no problems. Beat Lyon, no problems. All you got to do, it's 4 games. It's 4 games. Come on, it's easy. And then you can pay for us to fly out to Lisbon as well. How's that? How does that sound? That'll be good. LG says, and we also have the Mariona X Factor. Well, yeah, that's true. We just got the Mariona X Factor in the Champions League. She's got loads of goals in the Champions League for us. So, let's hope that she makes a difference. But let's see. Ag says, yes, Real Madrid is a weak. They are, but we've still got to beat them, though. We've still got to beat them, haven't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, you've still got to beat them.
It's 2 games that we're going to have to beat. We have to play well. But I'm confident. I'm happy with the draw. And I did have a smile. It's been a tough few days losing semi-finals, but it certainly made me smile. When the draw came out, and I'll see who we got. I was happy with that. It made it almost made up for the disappointments that we suffered this week. So that was good. That was good. We enjoyed that. And of course, talking of cups, we're out of 1 cup. We've got a Champions League to come, and of course, this weekend it's the biggest cup of them all, the FA Cup. I just want to, before we go on the FA Cup, I do want to say Joe's comment there. I wonder if Real Madrid feel the same about Arsenal, that they've got the weakest team. Well, I don't know. Maybe they do. It doesn't matter. That's an interesting point. I wonder if they do, actually. I wonder if everybody else, just lunchtime watching the draws, thinking, I hope we get Arsenal. They were saying that. I don't know. I mean, we've got we've got the history and stuff, but at this moment in time, I don't know. Maybe they did think that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter because we're going to beat them. So I hope they did think that, and they're going to a shock, aren't they, when we beat them 5-0 in both legs. But anyway, we'll worry about that a bit later on, because for the time being, we have got the FA Cup. It is the cup that we've won the most. We haven't won it for a long time, as we know. We've got knocked out of one cup this week, so we have got to now. Everything's got to be focused on not only winning on Sunday as we should, but going as far into this cup as we can, because it's a fantastic cup. It's our cup, and we need to get it back. It's been far too long. I want a day out at Wembley in May. I don't know about Lisbon in May. That would be great, obviously, but Wembley in May as well. Come on, it's got all the hallmarks of a great. So Arsenal, you know what you've got to do. I mean, Andreas, obviously we knew the draw for a while, and it's obviously a good draw, a bit like the Champions League draw. It's a draw we would like in terms of going through, and we should go through, shouldn't we? I mean, I'm expecting some changes to the team. I'm sure there will be. Do you think it'll be more like the Brighton team from a couple of weeks ago in the League Cup? You know, maybe playing players like Katie Reid and Rosa and people like that, or do you think that Rennes will go quite strong, bearing in mind we have to win? Losing that game would be a disaster, let's be honest.
Yeah, there will be changes, but will bring on a strong team. And yeah, of course, London City is only in the Championship. They are only in the second tier, but they are on second place, 1 point behind Birmingham and the game in hand. So yeah, they are probably one of the best, maybe the best team in the second tier. So it's dangerous, and they have nothing to lose. They play away. Of course, they are the outsiders, but look at the squad. They have a few very good players. They signed Aki Kumagai. We all know her from Lyon.
Kumagai. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know. Thea Goldie should be
Yes,
captain.
she's there. Kosovar Asllani.
Kosovar Asllani, Sofia Jakobsen. Yeah, a few really good names. And Emma Mitchell, we remember from Arsenal days. Yeah, it won't be too easy, and I think we will get a strong lineup. Maybe we'll see in defense. I think Manu will start in goal, and probably and Cody in a centre back. Maybe Katie McCabe will start at right back, and Jenna Neiswanger will get a start. I could imagine that, but I expect Leah at holding midfielder as Kim is out. Then let's see how fit Caitlin is. What is with Beth after this? As they said, small niggle she caught. Maybe Rosa can start. I hope that Leslie will start as number 9.
No.
You are hoping for Stina, I know. We'll have a mixture of a bit of rotation, but a strong team, because everybody knows how important this game is. Losing against London City at home it would be terrible to lose against a team from the second tier, but more terrible to be out of the FA Cup, because we won't win the league, we won't win the League Cup, so probably we won't win the Champions League. So the FA Cup is the one top goal for us, and we must win on Sunday. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a massive shock, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. If we don't win on Sunday, I think it'd be one of the biggest shocks in the recent years in football history, let alone women's football. Like he says, the FA Cup only gets exciting at quarter-final stage. Well, I suppose it depends on who you're playing. I mean, it'll only get exciting for us at the quarter-final stage because we're more likely to play a WSL team. We've got a slightly good draw so far with 2 championship teams, but we still have to win. But you're right, most cup competitions don't really start to get exciting until quarter-final, semi-final, when the pressure's on a little bit more and you're playing bigger games. But I like the FA Cup anyway, and I love the FA Cup. It's the fantastic competition, is it, for the men and the women? So let's enjoy the game. But I'd like to see some changes to the team. I thought we looked tired last night. It's quite a quick turnaround playing Thursday and Sunday, isn't it? It's probably needs a good. In the team, I would imagine. Greg says, hopefully Rosa doesn't start. She hasn't impressed when she starts. No,
she's still young, man.
those 2 games that she started, she didn't look very good at all. But you can't just maybe not play her. She needs maybe more games, so maybe give her another chance. But we'll see. Lucky says Real Madrid have we as their best player. Yeah, absolutely. She probably is. Yeah, she's a great player, of course, as we know. Joe says, I wonder if Rosa was trying too hard in her starts. Yeah, maybe she was. I don't know. It didn't quite work for her, did it? So let's see. Greg says we should be ruthless and play our strongest team. Otherwise, it could go. Yeah, but we've just had 2. Well, we've had 2 big games this last week. It is a quick turnaround. I would make some changes. We should be good enough to beat them anyway. We could make 6 or 7 changes to the team. We've still got a very strong. That should be good enough to beat a championship team. Come on, if it isn't, there's serious questions need to be asked. So yeah, no, let's make some changes and we still win. But let's see. Joe says give Leslie her number 9 back. She said no, she doesn't.
Yes. Yeah.
Quicksort says I've let Rosa go on low. Well, I don't think she can now, but yeah, maybe she needs more game time. But let's see what happens really. But she might well play and. Yeah, let's see how she gets on this time. Maybe this game might be better for her. I mean, and Emma, obviously, we should win on Sunday. Be surprised if we don't.
Yeah, I expect 5 or 6 changes. I'll play something similar to the team that won in the last round against Bristol. I would expect a few changes there. We look solid there, yeah. But let's see. We just need to. We just want to get through. Obviously, I think. Okay, now Conti Cup. Everyone says, "Oh, yeah." I know even in the past I've said, "Oh, yeah, that's the only trophy we've won." But it would be nice to get to FA Cup, win it for the trophy we haven't won in nearly a decade. And yeah, get ourselves in the hat for the next round. I mean, yeah, I think I just saw the draw is on Tuesday evening at 6:30. So and we're ball number 8. But let's not look at that far ahead. Hopefully, we actually haven't made the quarterfinal of the FA Cup since in 3 years. If you remember, I think we lost to Chelsea in the 4th round 2 years ago. Last year we lost to City. So it's good to actually have a decent draw for once and a team that we can beat. I know they're in good form. They've got all those internationals. They got. I don't know if you saw the Karen Carney documentary recently, which was quite good about the way they're trying to transform their women's team and all the investment that's going into it. But yeah, it'll be a very stern opposition, but we should hopefully beat them if we score a few goals. Yeah, I believe it's live on YouTube, isn't it, on 2:00 on Sunday? So that would be good. Yeah, I think they should the Rugby Borough versus Liverpool game online, but hopefully we'll be able to get through. And I think, yeah, well, as you would, let me start. Why not saying what I think the score will be? I think we'll get through, and I think we'll win 4-0.
4-0. Well, that would be okay, wouldn't it? We'll take a nice 4-0. Absolutely, we would. Andreas, what's your score prediction then? Obviously, we're going to win, I'm sure.
No, we won't score so many goals, and will be a harder task than you expect, and it's 2-0 in the end.
Okay, fair enough.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
2-0 would mean we are through, and that's what counts.
Yes, that's what
it does count. Absolutely, it does count. And FA Cup, any knockout game is all about winning. Whether you win 1-0 or 5-0, 10-0, you're still in the next round, aren't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ag says there, and now Arsenal up against Swedish Asllani. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Greg says that was a big surprise. Asllani going. That was a bit of a surprise. Yeah, but I mean, it'd be good to see her playing because she's a great player still, and we love to see great players playing, don't we? That's what it's about. And I don't think London City Lionesses are going to be a walkover as such. I think they're going to be stern opposition, but obviously we should be too strong for them. We would hope to be, shouldn't we? Christ. Joe says, talking of game time, is there a place for a reserves league for WSL? Maybe. Yeah. It's called the Championship, though, isn't it? Because all our players go on loan to the Championship. So that's like the reserve league, isn't it, really? But no, there needs to be maybe a reorganisation of women's football, maybe, so players can get more game time. And, there's not enough teams in the WSL. There's not enough teams in the Championship. There's not enough promotions and relegations. So there isn't enough games domestically. There's a lot of other games, isn't there? Cup competitions and European games and all this, that, and the other, to make the fixture list up. But yeah, I don't know if a reserve league is the way forward. I'm not sure. The reserve players, if you like, need somewhere to play, and they need to be playing more competitive games. A lot of them go on loan, I suppose, into the Championship and get game time there. But I don't know. At the moment, I'm not sure there'll be enough competitiveness in a reserve league to make it beneficial. Our reserve team would do well and we'd probably win every game. But how many other teams have got reserve sides that will be strong enough with their youth players and stuff to compete? I don't know. I'm not sure if that would work right now. I mean, Andreas, do you think that a reserve league in the future, maybe not? I don't think at the moment it would work, would it? Perhaps.
There is an online discussion about a proposal from the FA to introduce B teams from the teams in the WSL and the Championship in the between the third and sixth tier, and it should be a difference of 2 leagues between the A and the B team. I read a lot about this discussion. It's something new for English football. In Germany, we have that, but we have in the women's football in Germany, we have this B teams or second teams, as they are called. From example, Bayern Munich, they are playing in the second league, and Frankfurt second league, Wolfsburg in the third league. So this is a new discussion for England, and maybe it would be a good idea. But then, you have to have restrictions. So a real squad of 25 players for the B team, and not say we can mix up the teams every week. Then it's not good for the competition. And of course, it's about the money. Which clubs would be able to have a B team with 25 players? It's Chelsea, Arsenal, United City, maybe Liverpool. That's it. Yeah, it's difficult. At the moment, we only have the academy teams, and the teams are playing their cup competitions. Let's see where the discussion goes. But I know that there's a proposal from the FA, and of course the WSL and the Championship are under self-control with this. It's no longer called WPLL. They are now called Women's Super League Footballs Limited. But they have to agree, and it's difficult. It won't come next season, but it's important to talk about.
Absolutely, no, it is, and I think that a restructure in some way of women's football will need to happen to keep the development going and to develop the next generation of players, because they need to be playing, don't they, at a competitive level to improve enough to play at the top level when they can. So yeah, I'd like to see something happen along those lines, but I don't know how it would work, and I don't think we're quite ready yet. As things stand now, maybe looking at the lower leagues could be a way, I suppose. I have watched some third and fourth tier women's football, and the standard isn't great at the moment. It isn't, and improvements need to be made at that level, and maybe playing WSL reserve sides down there might improve it. It might have the opposite effect, and the Arsenal youth team end up winning the fourth tier quite comfortably, and then it makes it almost a waste of time, I suppose. But there are improvements need to be made, because I say when you get even the Championship, the level in the Championship needs to improve, but below that it isn't great. The standard isn't great. There's a lot of work still needed, and everybody looks at WSL, and we love the WSL, and it's fantastic. But that doesn't mean that women's football from top to bottom is in a great place, because it isn't. It's improving, and it's moving in the right direction slowly, but lower down, a lot of work, a lot of investment still needed, for the future. And let's not, we're Arsenal fans, so we focus on the WSL. Of course we do, because that's what matters to us. That's what we're playing week in, week out. But in the overall scheme of things, women's football does need investment lower down. As I've watched lower league in the women's game, and I've enjoyed it, but you can clearly see that there's a lot of investment needed. And if we're going to make the whole of women's football more competitive, it needs to happen, doesn't it? We've already seen, as it is now, the Championship teams that come up aren't ready to compete in the WSL. So there's work needs to be done. But maybe that's a way forward, as Andrea says. Maybe it's a conversation that needs to be had, and it needs to be something for the future that needs to work in the right way. Unfortunately, I guess it's going to come down to money, because that tends to be what rules everything, unfortunately. But anyway, I mean, Amar, do you think that can work, a WSL reserve league, or teams of WSL reserve teams playing in a league, whatever league it might be?
I mean, you do see it with the men's game, don't you, with the under-18s and all the various leagues you have there. But I think the whole point is send the youngster. Otherwise, I don't know I don't know how that would render the loan system. Are we sending all these young players on loan to do well at the I wouldn't say the lesser teams. I mean, that'd be putting it harshly. They send them out on loan too just because it's good for their development. Whether playing in a separate league would help, I don't know. It was the way forward. But then again, like you have with we said so many times about the women's game in past with the congested schedule, and they just want to play more games. I don't know whether the playing week in week out would be good for the development. I mean, in a separate league would be necessarily good for the development. It could be the way forward, but then what would that do to players going on loan to get more game time? I mean, it would be an interesting one, but I mean, it's interesting to see, but yeah, I mean, whether you want more games is good for the development, like you see, as I said, with the under 18s and whatever the various levels. But yeah, it's not a bad idea for the future. Whether it tags on though, it remains to be seen. But then again, that's why I guess you send the players out on loan so they can have those games for teams so it'd be good for the development. But yeah, who knows? Going forward, it might be the way. It might be the way to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it. What I would like to see, I think overall, is rather than women's football following what men's football have always done, and going down the same route. I think women's football's got the opportunity to try a few different things that maybe either hasn't worked in men's football or men's football wouldn't use. And I think women's football have got a great opportunity to do that, actually, to try a few different things with stuff lower down the leagues and stuff like that, and try a few different ideas. And we don't have to follow men's football. We don't have to copy we don't have to copy the blueprint of men's football. Obviously, that's been successful, but doesn't mean that's the only way. And I'd like to see women's football maybe try a few different things. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. They've got this new company obviously running things now away from the FA. Maybe they are trying a few different things, and maybe we will see that. I hope so, because I'd like to see at least try things. If they don't work, they don't work. At least we give them a go, and we try something different. And I'll be happy with that. But let's see what happens. It's probably a bit off in the future yet. Greg scores. He's gone 6-2 because he says standstills in the big goal.
6-2.
Well, they've got some threats, haven't they, London City, with some of the players they've got. So they could certainly score a goal or two. But I think we'll win, obviously, in the end, fairly comfortably. Lucky says they should increase the amount of teams. Yeah, of course they should. Absolutely, 100% they should. But again, there'd be no point bringing another 4 teams in the Championship if those 4 teams are never going to win a game, because having more teams isn't just the answer. It's increasing the standard for more teams, so that more teams are able to compete at WSL level. It's no good just you can throw another 10 teams in it, put the whole championship in it, but they'd lose every game apart from they played each other. And it wouldn't be competitive. So it needs to be done. Absolutely, we need to get more teams in there, but it needs to be done in the right way at the right time when it's going to be. It needs to be more competitive. What it needs. We need it to be more competitive, and that's the way it improves, isn't it? Miss Pinkston says, "Can Taya play against us?" I think she's
no.
Is it not up to the club's discretion? The club can decide if they allow them to or not, can't they?
Yeah, so I think she's on loan, so normally she's cup tied. If we allow London City to play her, then okay. But if Arsenal doesn't say anything, then she's cup tied.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if she'll play or not, but. It's a strange rule, that, isn't it? Really, when it's a cup game, I can understand in the league, maybe in the cup. I think you should be able to play against your parent club in a cup match. But anyway, there you go. Lucky says, "I read B teams can't get promoted." I think that's what the blueprint at the minute is, but I think things will change. So let's see. Ag says the lady who owns London City Lionesses is owner of Lyon as well.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that, actually. Obviously, they've got a bit of money floating around, haven't they? Because they're getting some of these players in. They won't be playing for free, will they? As Lani and people like that aren't going to be there for nothing, are they? Joe says yes, and Bay FC and the NW as well. Okay, well. Ange B says, even just off the bench, wow, it's a very late substitute appearance from Ange tonight. I mean, half time is normally about right, but, in stoppage time is a bit late, isn't it? Anyway. Joe says, super sub, and very late super sub tonight, don't we? Absolutely. Greg says, don't think B teams are a good idea. Teams aren't financing the women's teams now. Exactly. The financing and the structure needs to be right first. But it's certainly something for the future, isn't it? Ryan says, needs to have 2 up, 2 down for W. So, again, that would be something. But again, having 2 teams that can't compete as opposed to having 1 team that struggles, is that at this moment in time the right thing? I don't know. long term, we've got to have more, haven't we? We've got to have 18 teams in the WSL at some point, haven't we? 18? I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think eventually, not. I mean, it's going to take time to get to that, but I think that should be the aim eventually to have 18 in the WSL, 18 in the Championship. That's got to be the future. It's just going to take time to get there to make it work. Money's needed, obviously, investment, which is what it's all about. Joe says, how would they go about increasing the number of teams in the WSL? Also, would be good if it was 2 up, 2 down, keep things spicy. No, it would. It'd be better to have 2 up, 2 down. I agree. I mean, the way you increase the number of teams in it, eventually those teams get more money because they're playing with bigger crowds. They get more sponsorships. They get more TV money, and then they can eventually start to compete. That's what happens in the Premier League. It takes time. It can work. But what we don't want to do is have a couple of seasons where we get 3 or 4 extra teams in there and we're getting 8-0 wins a lot again, like we used to before. We don't go down that route, do we? So it needs to be more competitive first, which is difficult to do. Lucky says, to make the WSL more competitive, just remove Chelsea. Well, yeah, just remove Chelsea anyway. For no reason other than just remove them. It doesn't need to be any other reason. That's the reason on its own. So if we're going to increase the WSL numbers or keep putting players out on loan to Championship, the investment in the Championship has to improve. Exactly, yeah. Investment is what it's about, isn't it? We know that. Sponsorship, TV, all that sort of stuff needs to happen, and the FA needs to get involved. Ryan says, no, they don't want to copy the men's teams. They will be worse. Yeah, exactly. If they don't want to do that, you're right, absolutely. So we're going to win. I haven't given my score prediction for Sunday. I'm going to go 3-1. I do think they'll score because they've got threats and we've got the statue in goal. But I think we'll go through. I think it'll be okay. And then we'll be in a quarter final. We can look forward to the draw next week. And says, Greg, I have into FA Cup. Yeah, what have you done to FA Cup? Well, it is the FA Cup this weekend, isn't it? So we're looking forward to that, of course. Of course, yeah. Just before of course, Lucky, good job. I've wrote them down, so we're fine. We have 3 players. Andreas, we'll start with you. Have you come up with your 3 players that you would take for Arsenal right now?
The first one is Lauren Hemp. We need a winger, a young winger with pace. Then I'd say what we need would have been Kira Walsh. We need a holding midfielder.
Kyra, man. You got Kyra.
For me, it's Kira Walsh, the best in this position we could have. And if we stick to WSL, then there's a name you won't like. It's Erin Cuthbert. She's a physical player, midfielder, and maybe this is a type of player who could bring us forward. If we don't stick to the WSL, then someone like Eva Payor from Barcelona.
I was thinking the same thing.
If we look for a player who scores a lot of goals every season, Bunny Shaw. Enough names. If I have to stick to 3, I say Lauren Hemp, Kira Walsh, and Erin Cuthbert.
Oh,
I mean, they are 3 very, very good players. There's no question. I'm not a fan of Erin Cuthbert, not because of how she plays, just her attitude and who she plays for and stuff. But no, I mean, she's a very good player, no doubt, and she would obviously improve our team. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Then that's not 3. That's 3 good choices, actually. I don't think there'd be too many arguments there. I think we'd all kind of take those 3, wouldn't we, if we could? Emma, what would be your 3 players that you would take if you could choose anybody to play for Arsenal right now?
I mean, as much as I don't like to say as well, but if you want to looking for a proper centre back who's such a threat from set pieces, you can't really say anyone. Millie Bright, and look how well she's done now. It's a centre back, fantastic centre back.
52 though. You can't have a 52-year-old playing for Arsenal.
But still, okay. Anyway, if I had to go with the defender, I'll go Millie Bright. She's so solid. You saw how good she was against us, the Emirates. She's still a threat from set pieces. She just brings that assurance about her. Midfield is a tough one. I mean, up front, maybe something like Myra Ramirez. Look how physically brilliant she is, and look how she's bullied our players in the past as well. But I mean, if you look at others, I guess it's really tough. But somebody from Manchester, I don't know. I think somebody, not ones that mention, who I'm quite a big fan of, is not maybe mentioned as much as somebody like Leah Galton, because she scores a lot of goals for Manchester United as well. So maybe she could be the sort of player that could maybe help us help up the goals and assists as well. She's a very good player for Manchester United, I think, as well. If we're looking outside the box, but I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. Millie Bright, I guess, yeah, you said it. Yeah, defensive midfielder is tough, but yeah, I'd probably go with. It's really tough. I'd go with Galton, Bright, and Oh, I don't know who else in the midfield. It's really tough. But if you're looking outside of Europe, I mean, Wendy Renard is probably everyone. This is the defender, the dream of a defender they want, isn't it? Iwa Payo and possibly Bon Mati. But you can only hope so much, can't you?
Well, I think we'd all like Bon Mati, wouldn't we? I don't think there's much doubt about that. Obviously, she's a fantastic player, isn't she? But yeah, I mean, obviously, I went with Lauren Hemp already because I think
yeah, I suppose.
I've been a fan of Lauren Hemp since I've started watching her play. I think she's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she's the one player in the WSL that I've wanted to come to Arsenal more than any other player for the last 3 or 4 years. I think she's brilliant. And as well, she plays in a position that we need on the left-hand side. So I would definitely pick her 100%. Obviously, I said Mary Fowler before. I'm going to stick with Mary Fowler because I think she's a very good player. And, we like Australians, don't we? We've got plenty of them. But it'd be nice to have another one, wouldn't it? And I think, she scores goals, she creates, she's got a lot of skill. I just like watching her. I think she's a great player. So I would definitely take her right now. I mean, we're only talking right now, not necessarily anything else other than to players that are playing well at the moment. I mean, Bunny Shaw's an interesting one because she does score a lot of goals. But I don't think she's better than Stina personally. She scores a lot of goals against the lower teams, and she stat pads, don't she, against Crystal Palace? She'll score 6 against them, and then she won't score against Chelsea. She won't score against Arsenal, and then she'll score another 5 against Leicester or somebody. So it looks like she scored a lot of goals, and she does score a lot of goals. Same with Sam Kerr. I mean, Sam Kerr does score in the big games as well. But I'm not sure about Bunny Shaw, actually. I'm not sure if I would want her. I don't think. I don't know. I don't really rate her, actually. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily sign a centre forward because I think we're okay in that position. I must admit, Kira Walsh is annoying me that she went to Chelsea. I must admit.
Yeah, it is a bit
annoyed me. And I would probably pick her because I do think she's brilliant. And that was the worst part of the transfer window was her going to Chelsea, actually. Because why didn't she come to Arsenal? She was ready to come to Arsenal.
We dithered.
She was ready to come, and that's just annoyed me. Angie says, "Love Tooney, one of my favourite." Yeah, I do. She's a bit inconsistent, isn't she, Tooney? Let's be honest.
I'd go for maybe somebody. What about somebody like Celine Bizet? She's a good player as well,
Yeah, she's a good player. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good players around, isn't there? Ryan says Cuthbert and McCabe, in the same team. We'd never finish with 11 players, would we? Let's be honest. Which is good. Miss Pinksock says Millie's too slow. Yeah, Millie is too slow.
I don't know about that, but she's solid. That's the problem. She's solid.
Well, yeah, but she's past it now, isn't she? Ryan says, I think Bon Matty's the dream. Let's be honest, that is the dream, isn't it? I think we'd all kind of want that, wouldn't we? Ange B says Walsh is dead to me. Yeah, well, she's dead to all of us, Ange, because she picked the wrong team, didn't she? Absolutely. Joe says Lauren Hemp got me interested.
She's a wonderful player.
She's a brilliant footballer. She is my favourite. She's definitely my favourite non-Arsenal player in the WSL. Lauren Hemp, absolutely 100%. I just think she's brilliant, and I don't care that she's. Every time she plays against us, I don't even care that she plays well against us because I just love watching her play. I think she's brilliant. And she's the one player in WSL I would do anything for us to sign, whatever it takes. Just offer her the money, whatever it is, I don't know. Just get her to Arsenal, please. Do something to get her. I know she's injured at the minute, but yeah, I would love her. Joe says Shaw needs Hemp to serve her crosses. Well, that's true. So, maybe buy both of them then. Get Hemp and Shaw then. But I'll do whatever it takes. That's a good shout from Miss Pinksock. Yes, Grace Clinton. I do like Grace Clinton. Actually, that's a great shout. She's a great player. Yeah, that is a good shout. Actually, Ag says Arsenal like a Tesla needs lots of and has bad owners. Yeah, and probably end up on the scrap heap in 2 years' time. So probably exactly like Tesla. Yeah.
We don't want to be like Elon. Thank you.
But no, there's some interesting names there, isn't there? And we could look through the whole of WSL and we could pick hundreds of players that we'd like to see at Arsenal. But ultimately, we've got some very good players, and we like the players that we've got, and we just want to see them do a little bit more and get us over the line in some of these trophies. But we're okay on Sunday. Ryan says okay until the battery goes flat. And the battery has gone flat, hasn't it, at a minute? So we are exactly like a Tesla because we have run out of battery. We did the other night yesterday. Lucky says which player gets under your skin the most? Mine is LJ. Yeah, I think LJ probably gets under everyone's skin. I think Erin Cuthbert's another one. She gets under my skin. I tell you, we did the other day when we played Chelsea. That what was on? I played on the wing. Sandy Baltimore. She was getting on my nerves. when we played
She's
them.
she's a fantastic player, though.
She is a fantastic player, but she was just kicking everybody, and it was like, oh my god, she was getting on my nerves. But yeah, LJ is the pantomime villain of the WSL, isn't she? An absolute country mile. I think everybody feels the same. Ag says Erin Cuthbert's so good. Well, she is, but I don't know. No one likes her. We don't like her, but she's a good player. A bit like
Letitia is a good shout.
Letitia is a good player. Erin Cuthbert's a little bit like that one at Wolfsburg. Who was at Wolfsburg? Who got injured. Germany defensive midfielder. Oberdorf. Yeah, that's Erin Cuthbert. She's a player like that, isn't she? Just annoys the hell out of you, but you'd love her on your team. When you're playing against her, you just hate her because you just.
Sorry, just don't want to go off the point. But talking of Wolfsburg, you say okay, Real Madrid is the weakest, but Wolfsburg had 66% of the ball tonight against 10th place Cologne and didn't even score against them. So you just So
Arteta will end up as their next manager then. He'll be suited to that.
Well, as long as we don't get Tommy Stroh, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, but
anyway, but just goes to show anybody can play anybody.
Definitely have Overdog. Yeah, I mean, you'd take it, wouldn't you? Let's be honest. You'd take a player like that, even though you hate playing just so you don't got to play against them, really. Get Erin Cuthbert in our team so we haven't got to play against her anymore. Then that would be me. I think Adriana Leon. Yeah, she's all right. She's a good player. Would she? I don't know. We should be better than what we've got. I don't know. Lucky says, which team is most hated in Germany? Bayern Munich are most hated. I'd say Wolfsburg are more hated than Bayern Munich players. They've got to have a name. Everyone hates Wolfsburg, don't they?
I think in Germany, in general, from men's and women's football, it's Bayern Munich. Because they were so successful over all these years. They won nearly everything with the men's team.
Yes.
It's you love them or you hate them, and I love them, but I think many football fans in Germany say that's the most hated team, Bayern Munich.
Nah, that's all right.
They're the Man United of Germany, aren't they? Let's be honest. Man United are the same one. Everyone in England hates Man United except for Man United fans, but it's because they're successful or they were successful. That's why. It's a jealousy thing, really. Let's be honest. Joe says Brazil for Chelsea manager. Imagine Alan Brazil going into the Chelsea dressing room. Remember what happened to him? He wouldn't come out alive, would he? Imagine whatever Cuthbert thinks. That would be funny. It'd be worth filming that, wouldn't it? It'd be brilliant. There you go. Greg says we should take anyone under 25, otherwise we'll end up as a geriatric team. Yeah, we have got an aging team. You're right. We have got some other players in our team. We do need some younger ones in, actually. But anyway, there's some interesting names there. Actually, that was a good question. Actually, from Lucky, I like that. That was good. Actually, got us thinking through the show. Got a lot of names thrown in there, and that was interesting. I like that. That was good, wasn't it? And it's been a good show. It's been the Arsenal Women's Show. It's the start of the weekend. It's a little bit of a quieter weekend, obviously, because the men are in Dubai having a nice holiday after the exerted themselves the other night. They deserve a holiday after that performance, quite honestly. I think I deserve a holiday having to put up and watched it. But anyway, there you go. Not all that lucky, are we? Some of us have to. Let's go work the next day, having suffered that the night before. But anyway, there you go. Joe says Chelsea signing Walsh and Gerber until 2029 is a genius. Well, it's not a genius move for us, is it? It's a genius move for them, but it's bad news for us, isn't it? It's not what we wanted. But yeah, so there's no men's game this weekend. So I think we got knocked out of the FA Cup on purpose so they could go to Dubai. That's the whole reason. Before not beat the worst men.
They played 11 games in 5 weeks.
With 10 men. Let's let them beat us and then we can go on holiday. That's what they planned. But it's all about the women again, as usual this weekend. Sunday, 2:00. Arsenal women versus London City Lionesses in the FA Cup at Meadow Park. It's going to be a good one. Arsenal should win. And we've been a quarter-final. Wow. And, of course, next weekend it is a North London derby. Arsenal versus Tottenham. 50,000 already sold at the Emirates. Wow, that is going to be an incredible game, isn't it? So it's all coming up, of course. So it's going to be good. And, of course, Tuesday, if we're through, there'll be the FA Cup draw as well. That's going to be interesting to really get in the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals, as Lucky says, when it starts getting interesting, it does start getting interesting. The one thing we don't want to draw is Chelsea away. Please, not Chelsea away. Let's get through first, but assuming we get through. Chelsea might get knocked out anyway this weekend. Aren't they playing someone?
They're playing Everton. They're playing Everton.
Yeah, so they'll probably win 5-0. Who knows? But yeah, we look forward to all of that. I'll be back Sunday, of course, for the game. I'll be about 1:45. Will we get a delayed kickoff again? That'll be fun, wouldn't it? So we look forward to that one. It's been a good show tonight. I've enjoyed it. Lots to talk about. Obviously, some great comments as well. Some great questions there tonight. That was brilliant. Thank you to everybody for your contribution as well. Joe says, really enjoyed the show. Regardless, we all have Arsenal women and we'll be okay. Of course, we'll be okay. And even if we're not okay, we'll still enjoy it, won't we? Because that's what it's about at the end of the day. So yeah, it's been quite a stressful week, hasn't it? We've lost 2 semi-finals. It's been not the greatest week, is it? But we've got a good Champions League draw today, so things are looking up, and we've got the FA Cup to look forward to. So things are definitely looking up this weekend. It's going to be good. If you haven't seen the vlog of the Newcastle game, go and check it out on the channel. It's had a lot of views already. It was, the video is good, even if the game was crap. But I tried to make the most of it. So enjoyed that. So definitely get onto that. Joe says, good night, and to yourself. Have a good one. Lucky says, Andreas, do you think Bayern Munich would win the WSL? I don't think they would. Do you? They're not better than Chelsea, are they?
No.
They're not better than Arsenal. They're not better than Arsenal, are they? They're not better than Chelsea.
They would compete for a Champions League spot, second or third place, but not winning. And not sure whether they would finish second or third, but they would compete with us, with City and United. Same for Frankfurt or for Wolfsburg. But I think Chelsea is a step ahead of
Why
them.
don't Chelsea go in the Bundesliga and Bayern Munich come into the WSL? Why don't we do that? That'd be a good swap, wouldn't it? That'd be a good swap. We'd like that because we might win the WSL a bit more. Lucky says, thanks guys, great. So thank you very much for your comments and your questions. Brilliant stuff everyone. So thank you very much to Andreas, of course, as always. Have you enjoyed the show tonight? It's been a good one, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course, a long one, but
busy.
And once again, thanks to all our viewers who are getting in with comments, and this makes it more interesting. Yeah, thanks to them, and I enjoyed it. Look forward to the weekend. Next week I won't be in the show. Friday I'm flying. Late on Friday for the North London derby.
Oh, of course, yes, of course. Oh, that's the point, is it? We'll have to see what we can sort out for next week then. But we won't about that this week. Yeah, so obviously Andreas is going to be at the game next week. It's going to be a good game, actually, isn't it? Of course, the North London derby, big crowd at the Emirates, going to be fantastic. So that is going to be good. I'm sure Angel will be there as well. And so she's got a good vibe about Jenna and Chloe. Well, I think we all have until we see them play, and then we'll probably think, rubbish. Both of them, get rid of them. Rick says, after a rubbish week, you guys make it better. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It has been a rubbish week. You're absolutely right. It's been a terrible week, but it's over. It's Friday. The weekend started, and but since Sunday, it's been terrible. The rest of the week. We haven't seen them yet. They're going to make a difference. Let's hope they do make a difference. I'm sure they will. And Ag says, so happy with the girls' Arsenal. That's exactly, we're happy with the team we've got, and let's enjoy them. And it's nice to dream about players that you want to sign as well, though, isn't it? It's always nice to make your own little fantasy team up. I'm sure you'd like to do that. So that's it for tonight then. Thanks to Amar as well, of course. You enjoyed it, Amar, being back on again. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. It's good to be part of the family. Yeah, thanks to all of you for your comments. Gives us a lot to just to talk about rather than the games. And it's good to share what we do, as I said before, what we love the most. And whatever happens, we stick with our team all the time. And we just want them to do well, and hope they keep on giving us plenty of moments to cheer about for the rest of the season. So there's still a lot to play for, and bring on the weekend.
Exactly, bring on the FA Cup. Let's do it. Let's win it. Let's win that trophy. If we can't win anything else, at least try and win that. Let's do it. So it's been a good show. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you Sunday for the FA Cup game. It's going to be good, and then hopefully the draw on Tuesday if we're in it, which I'm sure we will be. So see you very soon, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Come on, you fellas. Let's do it. I'll see you Sunday, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you soon. See you. Bye.